All right. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody see me? I hope that you can. Here's Daddy. That's right. I have had it. Angry Daddy. You guys now expect Angry Daddy right at the beginning. So anyway, sorry that I'm a little bit late this morning. Yep, now I'm on the air and everything looks good. Ooh, Richard Whitney already donated $225. That's a great way to start the day. Sorry I missed you last weekend, family visit. I did the replay in full. Thank you for your knowledge, wisdom, and hard work. Know that you are appreciated for your bravery in showing us all the truth. God bless you with peace, love, and light. Thank you very much. Yes, I've got sizzle today, dude. I am sizzled all up for you. I got the Hindu Rudraksha. I'm wearing that right here. Let's get that under the collar. Love you more than Elvis. Well, I guess that depends on how much you love Elvis as to how big of a compliment that is or not. It could be not really a compliment. Maybe you don't love Elvis that much. David, you are lit. What's up? I had a fantastic week, you guys. It was busy but terrific. So, whoops. Let's go to that. It's been a busy but terrific week. So don't worry about me. Everything is actually great. We had a major breakthrough with Stavat, you guys. That's why I'm wearing the gold shirt. And I psychically sensed it coming, okay? We had our normal board meeting on Thursday. As you know, I transcribed the board meeting for the group, and I'm also a major participant, you know, major investor. Thanks to your ongoing support, I want to say again how much I love you guys. Beach Boy, nice David, hubba hubba. David's got that skibidi riz. Let's be honest, David, do you ever not have sizzle? Another Tuesday, Friday promise, says Nick Sasma. No, this is definitely not that. So I go into the board meeting on Thursday, and I sit on the desk right over there, and I decide that I'm going to wear this gold shirt. And I said, you know, let's just attract abundance, and let's be happy, and let's get this all going. So I wore this gold shirt, not knowing that there was incredible news for our company that was already, you know, it was already a done thing. So here's what happened, okay? This is our SM-31. This is a trainer aircraft. It's got a very big engine in the back. We can shoot out a whole lot of thrust here really fast. This actually travels Mach 2.1 or maybe even 2.2. And so it's very fast. And that's really good for people training to go on even faster flights because, again, if you get up to our SM-39, now you're looking at having it go at Mach 4, which would be the fastest plane that humanity's ever made that's an airplane. I mean, there could be UFO type of stuff that's a lot faster, and I'm not going to deny that. But like for what we're doing right here, Mach 4, this is going to be the premier aircraft in the world. And I want to get to the point where we're making these. So this requires new engines. If you look on the underside here, let's get up close now. If you look on the underside up here, you'll see how there's air intakes. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, you see how there's air intakes there? It's kind of like sideways there. Oh, man, it's so... There, okay, you can see it now. So anyway, the air goes all the way through the entire length and then comes out the bottom down here. And these are new engines. Our CEO, Chris Beskar, has designed new engines that actually allow you to shift from regular cruising speed, which is already going to be supersonic, to afterburner. You can shift cleanly between afterburner and regular speed. And so this engine design that we're doing is also going to be in our airliner, the SM-920. And as I said, we've got a contract for that. We're anticipating funding very soon. So my life is about to change, you guys, because we've been trying to raise money to get this going because this is a nice starter project in the sense that it has conventional engines. This is a conventional engine in the back. We don't have to invent something new. And so once we get this funded, everything else kicks off. And so there was a guy we were working with And he kept wanting to rip us off. I mean, I'm sorry to be rude, but like, you know, I don't want him watching this and getting all mad. But like, yeah, he wanted very, very unreasonable deals. Like, aerospace is a strange thing where you can't just say, I want some massive percentage of the project. You have to keep it within a reasonable range. And so, you know, we kept getting people coming in saying, we want to overthrow your whole board of directors. We want to fire everybody. You got to buy out your shareholders. You got to buy out, that which would include me, right? So I'd have to be bought out. Then we'll give you this money, but you got to get rid of everybody. You got to get rid of your board of directors. We're going to hire your board of directors. We're going to take over the company, and we just want Chris Beskar. We don't want anybody else in Stavat, just the CEO. Okay, so we had a couple donations. We had Michael Larson. He says, thank you for your hard work. Congratulations, love and light. And then he donated again and said, woot. And we have John Deceive saying, I'm happy for you having a great week. As always, I appreciate everything you're doing for us. I think the chat is far behind. That is weird. I'm actually like I set myself on a 10-second delay today just so that hopefully it's very, very stable. We'll have a little less latency. Wow, dude. We already got 2,300 concurrent viewers. So yeah, so we had a huge breakthrough because this is a guy who actually has his own capital. He's not just an intermediary. He's actually a source of capital. And he wanted to fire everybody, and he wanted to take over the company, and he wanted like a majority percentage and all this kind of stuff. And we're like, look, sorry, we just can't offer this kind of stuff to anybody. Well, let me turn my lights on here. That's important, huh? Let's see. Oh, they don't want to come on yet. I guess I just plugged them in too recently. Let's see if this one will come on. There we go. But that one doesn't want to. All right, never mind. Anyway, we're making progress. We're getting our lights going. So, again, the SM-31 project is one of our premier aircraft. It's got great things going on. Smash the like button. Thank you, David. I love you and all you do, says Teresa Dastrup. She's been really supportive, so thank you, Teresa. Lynn Dome, great to hear you today. I'm in jet engine development. Are you hiring? Would love to work with you, says Relax Time. Yes, if you think you could be a member of our community, a member of our upcoming company, please write us. So anyway, this guy has now, it turns out that Chris's letters were too long because he writes very big letters. And I've told him this, let's try to keep this more brief. Well, it turns out that the guy never really read anything that we were telling him about why you can't fire everybody and why you can't have a majority percentage. And anyway, I found out after I put the gold shirt on, after our board meeting started, I found out that this guy has now agreed to our business plan. He's actually agreed to the exact funding percentage that we offer in our business plan, which is a tremendous miracle. It's just beyond anything we could have hoped for. It's totally awesome. It's totally amazing. And I'm very, very excited. So they say they want to do it quickly because, we're trying to get contracts and we, so it looks really positive. I think that this could all matriculate very quickly. We have a prime source type of guy now. He's got very good connections. So yes, thank you guys in advance for your good wishes. This has been a really, really great week. And I live in upstate New York, Stavat in Niagara Falls. Yes. Hey, David, it's been a while, says Spencer Hale. Sorry, I've been very busy with work. They had me work almost every Sunday. I got today off. I need a new career choice. I'm tired of my current job. Hopefully I get one. Nanasani says, I worry Chris is stringing David along. We do get a few of those comments, but no, absolutely not. Let's see what's going on here. Why am I not playing? Hold on. Yeah, so my video feed that I get paused, but let's see if I can move it ahead a little bit here. Hold on a second, you guys. YouTube has gotten really strange. There's a lot of strange things that happen now that didn't used to happen before. But that's okay. So anyway, yeah, I've got my video feedback. I'm seeing myself again. You got to be ready for any type of problems. I love the shirt. Thank you, Ridgeline Remote Team. I really appreciate that one. Smack the like button. Everything looks good. You are golden, David. Woo! Yeah, so we have several things that are cooking right now, and they're all very, very imminent. And then to add, because we have the airliner deal that's in the works, we're expecting that to happen. Now we have yet another deal that I just found out about on Thursday that nobody saw coming, and then there's yet another deal I also found out about on Thursday that could be for like 25 million. So 25 is not a huge amount, but it's enough to get us off the ground and make us happy. So these wins are so big that it's just dazzling. I don't know what else to say. The wins keep on getting bigger and more imminent. As I just said, we're now vectoring in 2 more deals. And then winning yet again. I was having trouble sleeping last night, you guys, because unfortunately, if I make the slides right before bed, it's a very bad idea. So I apparently do not have the ability to control myself. Let me borrow $100,000. I'd like to borrow $100,000. Hubba hubba, says Richard Collins. Yeah, everything is going great. Don't worry about me. The synchronicities are piling up like you can't imagine. And it's a very exciting thing. And I'm also looking at the possibility of turning this house into cash. That's one of the things I might actually do, because if the IRS would be kind enough to offer me a lower amount for what I owe, then I would be able to actually monetize this house and potentially pull out like $500,000 of equity from here that I could use to rebuild my life. And that's all of a sudden becoming very exciting. Now I'm thinking, you know what, dude? I mean, it's great right now, and I like it, but when the winter, we're already going into winter. This is one of the things I didn't make slides for. We're already going into the winter season. Earlier this week, I got hit with crazy wind, and it just got cold, and it got really freaking windy, and it was like waking me up during the night again, and now I'm remembering, oh my God, dude, when I live here in the winter, you remember how many times I couldn't do a show on Sunday? You remember how many times I'm like all burned out and I said I couldn't sleep and I was up all night? Well, staying in bed up all night is a good reminder of, you know what, it's almost impossible to avoid that from happening in the winter when I live here. And it's regular. You get routinely woken up. So maybe it is time for somebody else to enjoy this place and for me to move on, because by the time I would want to move back here next summer, with all the stuff going on with Stavat, I mean, I'm probably going to want to live closer to one of our facilities. I'm going to end up wanting a whole different scenario. I don't know how much I'd even be able to come here. So that may be the handwriting on the wall. If I can finagle a deal with the IRS, because they know I'm going to be a major taxpayer in the future, I can get it down, get the offer down. I've heard that they'll make incredible deals. So this is what I'm hoping for. Then that's a very exciting idea too. So I definitely am looking at Sedona for the winter. So you might end up seeing me broadcasting from a completely different set. So yeah, we're looking at all the possibilities, and I'm really excited about that as well. Vacapalo says, good afternoon, sir. And everyone, bring it on. And we're at 2,674 viewers already. I am happy and I look good, and everybody's happy to see me. They love the gold shirt. Prince Royal, who always wants me to do cigarettes, ham, fireworks, and bacon. Good afternoon, David. Your Sunday family welcomes you back today and for your show. Thank you for saying family. That has been one of my major meditations this past week, is that you guys actually are my family. I've been really, it's kind of just been dawning on me like, wow, I'm not as alone as I think I am. You are here with me every week. I was looking into possible advertising solutions for this show, and I find out, oh, you can't do 5 hours. You're going to have to do like 1 hour and keep it to that. I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, it shouldn't be possible that we get so many people watching, but we do, and we're family. I mean, I got the same people coming back every week. Project Skyfalls, I recognize your name. He says, yes, we are. Gene Novacek, I recognize you. We are definitely family. Melissa Martin. Who else do I recognize? Sydney Mansfield, we are one. David Savage. I mean, it's it would be great to really be able to meet all you guys in person. And so that's what we're going to be doing with our upcoming event. And I hope that now that the jury duty thing got canceled, it's so awesome. I just found out this morning. I called in when they're like, you got to call this number and da-da-da-da. You know what? They called it in. They said, your jury duty is complete. You don't have to come in. I'm like, holy crap. Wow. I served my country by waiting and then making a phone call and never having to leave the house. I mean, that's the best jury duty you could ever want. It's like God is smiling on me, you guys. Roger Zubarak, you look sharp. We are glad to hear all is working out beautifully. I did give myself a preliminary haircut, but hopefully on Tuesday I'll be able to get a real haircut, But I did cut my own hair, so I think it looks pretty darn good. I had to clean it up around the ears a little bit. I just couldn't handle it anymore. Seska Matilda, another long-term subscriber, donated $200. Says, we are the family of David. You are absolutely right. We are here, says somebody else. You are amazing, says Pamela Clymer. Vicky Gray loves you. Awesome souls on your channel. Deanne Johnson donated $20. The gold sizzle is the way to go, says Deborah Oulette. So yeah, you know what? It's really nice to come here week after week and see you guys in the comments, and you're happy and I'm happy, and this is so positive. You did a good job with your hair. Thank you. I actually did not cut it wet. It was partly wet, but it was also partly dry. And I said, let me just do the best I can, and I just kind of got in around here. I think I'm very pleased. Tell them you're a mind reader and can tell if they are. Well, I don't have to do that. The jury duty got canceled, dude. So maybe I guess the parties must have settled or something. I don't know. But I was really not looking forward to that. I expected, you know what? They're probably going to want me there at like 7 o'clock in the morning. It's a half an hour down the mountain, 15 minutes to park, which means I got to leave at 6:15, which means I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And then if I'm up until 11 o'clock the night before, then I'm only going to get 6 hours. And then if I don't sleep, then I don't have any time and I'm low blood sugar and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really, guys, I don't know what happened. It's like a divine intervention that I don't have to do this. So let's just take it as a blessing, right? I mean, I'm here. I'm in such a better mood now because of this. So we have Michael Larson, and he says, we're family, David. So happy for you, brother. We're definitely fam, says John Patrick. Go full bald, says the Swill. You've got the head for it. No. If you actually see me with a bald head, my skull goes like this. It comes up and then it's flat on the top. It's not round. It's sort of like a step pyramid because I was delivered by forceps. The sides of my head kind of got smashed in. Anyway, we have Diane Ross donated $50. That's very great. Thank you. We have Phil K donating $20. Hope to meet you at an event when you return. Yes, we are going to be doing events. We may do Burbank as well. I think I might end up putting 2 events on the show on our schedule at the same time just to generate ticket sales because I just want to maximize my revenue. Tony Jorgensen, thank you, David. I look forward to watching you every Sunday. Glad to be part of your family. You are a blessing. Carrie Richens, I sent you 20 more blueprints of tech and math. Needs to be in the right hands to help humanity. I'm a mom in Ohio. For safety, I released to the public first. Okay, you are family to me, says Jackie Baby. Everybody's weighing in on this. April 613, you did well. I got out of jury duty once by saying something the attorneys didn't want to hear, LOL. Yeah, so it's all good, man. Life is very good now. Feeling much better. Found out this morning. Now I can sleep in after the show. But the lesson last night, and the lesson has been, you got to remember to eat enough. Because if something is, I mean, I don't think I'm diabetic or pre-diabetic or anything, but I just, with how hard I'm working and how much I'm doing and all the great news that's happening and all the hard work that I do, and I'm very preoccupied with this, that, and the other thing, sometimes I get up in the morning and I just get really busy, I'm very energized by what's going on. And I've discovered that I really have to be mindful of my blood sugar. If my blood sugar gets low, all of a sudden I start having anxiety and I feel weird. Some of the shows that I've done, like last week's show when I didn't really feel very good, part of it was that I hadn't eaten enough before the show. So I made sure that I ate enough. I made sure, and that's a very important thing for me now. So again, I didn't sleep last night because I stayed up doing these slides for you guys. And the sleeping pills actually did not improve my situation. So why did this happen? I think that there is great stress in the mass consciousness field. I had some sleeplessness earlier in the week as well, especially after the mass shooting on Monday. That, I think, really upset the mass consciousness. So if you read the Law of One, they say in there that there are people who will tune into the Earth's consciousness. The Earth itself is a sentient being, and the Earth can be afraid. The Earth can be afraid of whether it's going to survive humanity living on it or not. That's one of the weird things that you hear in the Law of One, which is my, again, spiritual source text. It's from 1996, is when I first started reading it. It came out originally in 1981. So if you have this issue where you're feeling grief, but you don't necessarily know why, you might usually try to assign it to yourself. You say, is this mine or... The way to solve that is to say, is this mine or someone else's? So I was aware this week that I was getting feelings of grief and anxiety that were not really mine. They were from the collective consciousness, because the mass shooting, I think, really, really did a lot of... I think it affected everybody. David, have kids, you're a good dad, you're not angry. That's true. The angry daddy is just a character. It's not who I really am. I don't act like that. Daphne Kavanaugh said, hi, David. Sorry I can't afford any more. $25. Wanted to show my deep gratitude for all you do. No, $25 is great, so thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Leanne Boudreau, 777. Blessings to everyone. We need more thumbs up, says Lucky Me. You're right, Chris G. I am an Earth empath. The Earth gets sad and also can be stressed out. Gene Novacek, the same thing is happening to me as well. Yeah, so I didn't hear about the mass shooting, what happened. We'll get into that in a minute, but on Monday in New York, there was a guy with an automatic weapon, and he shot people, and one of them was apparently a high-powered Blackstone CEO or something, some high-level person in a financial firm. So it's definitely strange. Skipper Vids, you can come to Florida, stay with us at our house as long as you have to. We are one family. Thank you. LTJ, thank you from your extended family in Kidderminster, England. The chat is popping off, says Zoichka. I'm glad to see so many people. We're already at 3,165 viewers at 22 minutes. That's great considering I've been so busy doing things that I didn't get the show link posted until last night. But thank you for being here. So first it was the mass shooting on Sunday. Then on Wednesday, we had this incredibly scary Hawaiian tsunami threat. So yeah, this was one of those things where the last time that I had looked at the news on this, it looked really bad. It looked like people in Hawaii might just get washed out by a tsunami. There might be like, the wave just goes over the whole... The wave would... Charlie Winter just donated. Thank you very much. Conference in September in Sedona with Unity Church. Love to see you there. Hadn't heard about that one. I'm probably going to be doing my own conferences in September, though. Now, that is a sweet shirt, my dude, says I. Kelly Blug. Entangled just donated. Thank you. Thank you very much. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on in the mass consciousness field. There's a lot of angst. But at the same time, there's breakthroughs, and it's really, really beautiful. So the Hawaiian tsunami threat was very scary, but I'm now calling this a Michaelism, and this seems to be one of the themes of initiation where you get some type of exceptionally high trauma, but then nothing bad actually happens, and you end up making spiritual growth in the process. So what exactly do I mean by that? I mean, for the people on Hawaii... as this siren comes in, as this tsunami warning comes in, you're literally wondering, am I about to die? And I think you can't get much more afraid than that. The idea that you're about to die is a very terrifying thing. But then all of a sudden you find out, nope, the tsunami didn't make it and it's not going to hurt anybody. But, it was very, very scary. So we're calling this the cosmic crucifixion, and we're all going through it. So one of the things I want to do is let's open up the dialogue with the audience, and you can tell me what is your craziest life crisis that's going on right now in the sidebar. So let's hear from you guys and see What is the thing that you're going through right now that is your own facing off against death, facing off against the tsunami? Todd Zafransky says Midway had 8 to 10 foot waves. Hawaii never got even half that height. It was very good news. Diane Casey, you're looking handsome as always. Apparently all the world's earthquake meters measured the Russian quake as a solid 7.3, but only USGS upgraded it. Why? To create fear? Well, it definitely worked. Dutch Since, GK says, called it as an 8.0. The NOAA is really into scaring people. Oh, J2626 says, my mother is in hospice. That's the winning crisis right now. Pamela Palmer has breast cancer. Muggsy dealing with jerks on my HOA. Constant hip pain, says Lynn J. Dental surgery tomorrow, says Wendy. Sunflower Heart, my son told me he's now a woman. I'm concerned I have family living on Vancouver Island. I'm the only one awake in my circle. Extortion from tyrants. What else do we have? Like you, I'm completely bankrupt, lost my friends and family spreading this message. I'm sleeping too much, but I'm not knowing why. Diagnosed with a spinal cord tumor in my neck, says Paul McDonald. We pray for you. I'm so sorry. Dreamwalker, my mother-in-law has 2 forms of cancer, chemo and eventually surgery. Send positive thoughts. Tsunami in Hawaii was only 6 feet. The chat keeps saying there's a 2-second delay for responding. Multiple joint replacements are the current pain and challenge, says Linda Korsiak. Sanda Bierman, I had my heart shocked while awake in the ambulance last week. New Zealand Day, rib cartilage injury for a month and a half, going to have BCC removed from my nose. Wow, you guys. No money, constant muscle pain that won't go away. Carolyn Parmentier. Love it, Nelson. I changed jobs. I'm low on money until my payday. I have a broken tooth. I think it is abscessed. I'm living in poverty. My food is insecure. Bella's Patio Garden. I'm so sorry to hear that. Kristen, my mother died last month. Guatemala is shaking, says Vacapalo. Planetary grid, Carrie Richardson says, is humans' emotions, nodes, tuning forks. I was in the GATE program, learned to decode the frequency. Wow, my prayers are with you all. So yeah, there you go. I mean, somebody else says, Deanna Dragovich, insomnia, thyroid C, and ringing in my ears. I've been terrorized by the neighbors above me for 3 years, says Doreen Clark. Okay, well, yeah, so we've got it. The point is, this is exactly what I expected. If you tell me your craziest life crisis in the sidebar, everybody's got really, really intense stuff. So let's talk about the crop formation that we all saw last week, because in my view, this has become incredibly prophetic. We had a marine mine. Let's just think about this for a second. It's so wild, right? We had this image in the crops that appear to be made by extraterrestrials showing a mine that was a World War I type of mine. That would imply an explosion in the ocean that blows up and causes a tsunami. Well, that's exactly what happened. So the crop circle was eerily prophetic. And I want to show you this again from last week's show so you can remember. It's in Germany, and it was a World War I naval mine surrounded by the Aztec Circle, which kind of reminds us of the Mayan calendar. So this was in Freiding, Germany on July 20th, and then the tsunami was on July 30th, so it was 10 days in advance. So look at this again, and then think about what we're seeing, because this is undeniably similar to World War I undersea naval mines. You anchor them to the ground, you anchor them to the floor of the ocean, and if something bumps into them, they blow up, and if they blow up, you're going to get a wave on the surface. So then here we go. It's like, wow, you know what? This actually does make sense. It actually looks like that. Here's some other images of naval mines as we showed you last time. So this is pretty heavy stuff, you guys, because this, as I was saying, it seems like it's also a prophecy of our solar flash. So you're going through hell. I've had challenges various times. You know that. I'm figuring out now how to solve all of them. I'm really excited about that. We got huge deals coming in. There's very positive things happening. We're being told that the sun is going to give off a flash and it would explode much like a naval mine, except that it's not going to be catastrophic to the Earth. It's not like the extinction level event. And this is also now prophetic of the Far East tsunami. There was an earthquake that exploded the seafloor, And then, just like Michael's prophecy about the solar flash, it turned out to be non-catastrophic. Go figure. The image of the mind is surrounded by the Aztec sunstone circle, the so-called Mayan calendar. And this, again, this crop circle really does seem to keep reinforcing this very bizarre idea that this year, according to Archangel Michael, there is going to be a solar flash that we are told will be non-catastrophic in nature. So now we're realizing that our tsunami was largely non-catastrophic as well. As I said, only 6 feet, apparently, Hawaii, nobody got really hurt. Might have been some deaths, but we also showed how the mind is made of 2 pentagrams put together. So that also talks about the explosion of the main enemy that we have here on Earth, this satanic force. And then because it's connected to World War I, it also invokes the Fatima stuff, which is like Mother Mary and, the flying saucer that had Mother Mary in it that showed up in 1917 and told the people of Portugal not to go into World War I. They did it anyway, and it culminated with 90,000 people being dried off when they were soaking wet. They were looking up at this UFO in the sky. It was a flying disc in 1917, 30 years before the term flying saucer was invented. And what we have is, they were shooting colors across the sky. They blocked the sun with the UFO. It made everybody scared that the ship was going to hit them, but it didn't. And that's like the fear of the sun blowing up, but it doesn't. And then at the end, again, 90,000 people's clothes were completely dried out. They had no remaining wetness or moisture. That's a miracle. I mean, we don't know how that could have happened. So again, we're looking at the different images of the crop formation. And, we haven't had any new ones, so clearly Michael still wanted me to talk about this. We discussed how a very curious thing happened where precisely 20 years earlier, we had 2 other crop formations with very similar designs. In fact, more than 2. And so that was Lane N. Down, July 10th, 2005, Wayland Smithy, August 9th, 2005. And again, the one on top looks like a marine mine. The one on bottom sort of looks like an gray extraterrestrial type of head with an ascended, it's Christian. If you actually look at the face, it's got a Eucharistic type of cross around the face, and it's got beams coming off of its head. It looks like an ascended being. And then what's also strange about this is why the 20-year cycle? Well, that's Jupiter and Saturn conjunctions. Every 20 years, the planets Jupiter and Saturn come together in the night sky. And that's great, because apparently it's like a clock for our solar system that determines how time portal activity is going to function. So we like that. So again, just so much stuff going on. I got to kind of breathe and just keep myself more relaxed, because I'm getting excited thinking about all the stuff that we're going to talk about here. Vandy, Washington, I lived in Lazina, Maui in 1975. I conceived my first daughter while I was living there. What's up? Somebody says, DIY modular sessions. The point is, you guys, there's really, really great stuff going on right now. And this crop formation really kind of hit it on the nose. So it also, we had that formation that showed up a little bit earlier that had the pentagram in it. So then again, this is 2 pentagrams. He's pointing that out. And Lane N down is the one that it looks the most like on the inside with, again, as we said, 27 internal dots, 72, let's call it, circles in the open field. So the 27 number is the symmetry spins of the tetrahedron, which is what this image is of. The bomb, if you want to call it that, looks like a tetrahedron, an interlaced tetrahedron, just like what we have here. Whoops. So this is, again, the bread and butter of what I talk about so much, this interlaced tetrahedron. And it is the basis of matter and space and time and energy, and all these different things come together. Every 72 years, the Earth shifts by 1 degree in the night sky so that the stars that align during the equinox are not the same. That's the precession of the equinoxes. Well, the end of the precession, the equinoxes, is the Mayan calendar, the alleged solar flash. So when you have 72 circles, this is prophetic of a solar flash. Because again, the Earth shifts by 1 degree every 72 years. The end of the Mayan calendar is when that's over. And it's also one number above 26, the Mayan number that we talked about last week. The symmetry spins the tetrahedron. And again, what's weird about this is that Stan Tenen, a researcher who's really great, Richard Hoagland was covering him in the 1990s, associated this with the Hebrew alphabet. So if you take a tetrahedron like we see here, and then you have this spiral that he's drawn that you place inside of it, you can then spin this in different directions and shine a light through the spiral, and its reflections then create all the letters of the Hebrew alphabet exactly in the 27 symmetry spins of the tetrahedron. Nobody ever discovered this before, and it also apparently works for Arabic. So this is what, he's calling it the apple, like in the Bible, Adam and Eve grabbed the apple. But then the spiral, if you actually just turn it different ways, you get all of the Hebrew letters very precisely, and the Arabic letters as you see here. So it's interesting. It suggests that extraterrestrials built these languages. There's some of the Hebrew ones. We also, again, have the Wayland-Smithy formation. This is what it looks like. It's an ET-style head where the pineal gland is going off. So that's, again, a very exciting prophecy about our own ascension activation. And some people said it was correlated with a bright new comet, 19P Holmes, because, as we said last time, sorry I'm repeating this, but I wanted you to get this again. If you look at the crop circle, it has two binary base 16 numbers in it. And the first one was 13-10-7, which actually corresponds to the day the crop circle was made, August 9th, 2005. That's pretty crazy. The second coded date of 14-5-11 predicted when this comet would join up in the night sky with Murphak. And so this is all really interesting stuff. 2 full cycles of Venus until we see a bright new star in our solar system. So that's the prophecy. And so the idea is the bright new star is the sun. And what's going to happen when the sun does this? Well, Michael has told us that it is a galactic family reunion. So this new crop circle appears on July 20th, the one that looks like the marine mine, and that's the 46-year anniversary of when we first landed on the moon. Again, suggestive of astronauts, ancient astronaut theory, reinforcing the ET angelic connection. So, we have another extraterrestrial head that's got step pyramids around it that also showed up in 2005, reinforcing the same message about pineal gland activation and ascension. It also reminisces of the Valiant Thor formation, again with the same kind of tetrahedron, extraterrestrial-looking heads, and the head looks like the robot Gort from The Day the Earth Stood Still. This was a movie that actually revealed the story of the human ET, Valiant Thor, and it was apparently the result of the movie was apparently the result of a treaty signed with angelic ETs to make a Hollywood movie. So Gort is the robot who comes out of this UFO that looks like a flying saucer, and then this other guy comes out behind him, and at first he has a helmet on, so you think there might be something scary under there, and he gets shot at the beginning of the movie when he comes out, but then the helmet comes off and you find out he's a regular-looking human being. So this apparently is the story of a Venusian from Venus. We actually have a Venusian who showed up at the Pentagon in 1957. And the book Stranger at the Pentagon talks about this. And he essentially told us that we have to stop making war, or else we will be stopped from making war. So there he is in the movie, and then Gort shows up, and when our military tries to shoot this robot, his visor opens up, and out comes a beam. So look at the little thing on the side of his ear there, and as we said last time, it looks like these little step pyramids around the face. So that one also looks like Gort as well, but especially this one. So Gort's visor opens up, the beam comes out, and he dematerializes all the military that's after him and wants to hurt him. You cannot imagine how significant this is. Because literally what we're looking at is the world is going to be transformed. War will not be possible anymore. We're going to live in a more utopian society. We're going to have incredible prosperity. We're going to have ET human interaction. The 46-year anniversary of Apollo is when this thing showed up. The angelic ETs have assured us that we will not be allowed to destroy the planet. So isn't it interesting that this crop formation in Freiding, Germany, looks like a marine mine? It also seems to predict a solar flash, and yet the tsunami never really hurt anybody. And again, the solar flash is not supposed to hurt anybody. This is consistent with their idea that the planet will not be destroyed. We also have the Mayan wing disk formation from 2004, the year before. That seems to indicate a flying saucer. Again, the wings around a circle. The double star formation of 2005 is very similar to one we saw, again, 20 years ago. And then we also have this Mayan tetrahedron with a very provocative symbol inside. I didn't know what this meant back in 2005. So I'm like, I don't know what that is, but now we definitely know what it means. It's right out of the databases about the stuff that we're talking about now. So this suggests that those types of criminal behaviors will now be stopped and will not be allowed to occur. So you can compare all these again with Wayland's Smithy, and there's very big similarities between them. Yet another one that came out in 2000, what was that, 5? Yep, the Mayan Star of David. And that, again, Star of David is like the tetrahedron. We have a Mayan ET head formation of 2013. Again, it's got the Mayan calendar around it. Again, it's got the ET type of face, or like a craft. The half crescent, the rays coming off of the crescent, the awakened pineal gland is what that seems to symbolize. It's very interesting. So some people were speculating could be Venus, as you see here. We talked about that last week. Perfect overlaps between these formations, and it also codes in the name Morning Star, which has a double meaning, as it says right there, because, first of all, again, Valiant Thor came from Venus, so he tells us that's the morning star, but it also represents Lucifer, because that's another name for it. So, you know, this is the detonation of the DS. It's partly about the explosion of this whole initiative, the return of Valiant Thor and other 6-density beings that come from Venus and can project into humanity. So when we look at the slides this week, the Alliance is upping their ante. They're upping their game, and they're saying, yeah, you know, you guys better get ready for some big UFO stuff. So first of all, on August 1st, we had J.D. Vance saying he's going to lead his own investigation into UFOs. He'll personally lead it. It's a top priority, something he frequently discusses with close friends, and he's hinting that major revelations could be on the way. So, if you actually watch the video, he says he's going to spend the whole month of August just focusing on this one thing. And then post number 29, again, they say, we pray every day for God's guidance and direction. We are truly up against pure evil. So what does that mean? That means that releasing this UFO-oriented information, just like I've been telling you, is key for people to understand that there has been a negative force here on Earth. And we're probably one of the premier places talking about that. Thank you guys again for being here. We got Bailey and Bebe, the Divas, donated $50. Juan Hernandez donated $199.99. Well, now I feel I'll sleep even better after the show. So Christ also called himself the Morning Star. That's a good point. Gregory Leon Watson, thank you. Did you hear Tucker claims government's run by supernatural beings and forces? Yeah, that's in the show as well. David, when is the event? Well, I'd love to know. It's not like I know, but, you know, we can speculate, of course. So let's keep going. Dr. Malone, who we all know and love, spills the beans on UFOs and the beings that are inside of them. He received a classified, RFK Jr. apparently received a classified briefing, so it's probably something I don't even know, on UFOs, UAPs, and whether they could actually be interdimensional beings or time travelers. A federal investigator told Dr. Malone that alien encounters are ramping up and confirms that they are real. And if you actually watch this, he's saying that various technologies came to us from the ships, but the only one that he could remember, as you see here, is night vision. But it's infrared night vision, computer chips, fiber optics, Teflon, Velcro, all different kinds of stuff. And so many of our pieces of technology that are so essential for me being able to do this show, being able to reach you through this medium, it's because of these crashes. So that was post number 123. Whoops. Nothing is random, everything has meaning. Well, there you go. It's all going to come out in the wash. So now I want to run you guys through the news headlines that specifically caught my attention this week, starting on Sunday. Now, this could have just been some troll, but it's interesting that RFK Jr. posted it. I mean, whoever wrote this, it's not like they're necessarily anybody that was paid by the inside, but it says engraving on a bench at the courtyard of the Food and Drug Administration, and it says the devil has got hold of the food supply of this country. So again, that could have just been a private citizen who did that, but the point is, why is RFK telling us this? Then on Monday, again, more evidence is about to drop, directly implicating you-know-who. So this is all showing we're getting really close to something happening. Here was the mass shooting, 5:25 p.m. It just so happens, right? What are the odds that it's on floor number 33 of the building? Nothing ever happens by accident, you guys. That's one of the things you got to learn about these people and what they do and how this works. Nothing is an accident. Everything has a deeper meaning. And so, anyway, 33rd floor. What's up with that? Why would he go specifically up to the 33rd floor? Was he programmed to do this? He might have been. And they gave us some provocative clues from the Alliance. He was saying before, if there was ever a time for a major FF event to shift the narrative, this is it. And then after this happens, he says, I told you that one of these was on the horizon. So that's what he's saying it was. Meaning this guy probably was not doing it in a normal way. He might have been hypnotized, who knows what. So Laura Loomer said there will be another da-da-da in New York City, and da-da-da will be to blame. And then it's reposting, evacuate New York City immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Well, isn't that weird? So I don't know what these means. You can figure it out for yourself. And then here's another one. The company, which is now, again, we had it all purged out of the State Department, 1,200 people or whatever. So now they're about to release, quote unquote, never before seen intelligence, where these officials didn't just abuse power, they conspired against the American people, and DC is in a panic. Well, that's good for everybody else. Bottom line. So then on Tuesday, we now find out that there's new surveillance footage, and unlike the public version, none of it is missing. Ooh. So this is going to get really, really good. Then after the tsunami took place, which was on Wednesday, so this should be ahead to actually here. Okay, so now we're into Wednesday, and Oprah kept her private road closed, even though it could be a lifeline for coastal families trying to escape the tsunami. So you definitely don't want to do that. Carrie Richens again donated. Thank you very much. So this is another, I mean, dude, it's like the show writes itself this week. I don't really have to do much of anything. So the next thing that we see, you know, is that good old, our new FBI director, who was one of us, he's a truther. He's uncovered a hidden room inside the FBI filled with thousands of documents that were in burn bags. Oh man, this is a major development, you guys. So like everything, as you can tell, this is a very exciting time. It's all coming to a head. Why go live if you don't talk to your audience? Are you just doing it for money? No, we're not doing it just for money. So if all I do is interact with the sidebar, then, you know, the show's never going to move forward, and we have a lot of slides, and I'm also tired, so I want to, you know, not be on the air for more than 4 hours if I can avoid it. But anyway, I do interact with you guys regularly. Yeah, troll, ignore that person. Bro, don't care about it. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Anyway, this is very exciting about the burn bags. that could turn into something. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take them to process these documents. Maybe not very long. And then this really, really caught my eye, you guys. Oh my God, on Wednesday, Chuck Schumer said he wants a deadline of August 15th. That's less than 2 weeks away from right now. And it says right here, he gave the president a deadline of August 15th to reveal all information connected to these files. They are demanding the full list and are determined to uncover the truth. Well, my God, I mean, just in good show, David says, Michelle Scenzano, ignore the uneducated trolls. Why are they here to distract, to get an empty ego boost? It's pathetic. Everybody says, ignore them, ignore them. Well, I mean, I just, you know, we're dealing with a very interesting situation. Charlie Winter, yes, we know about the 144,000. Of course, it's in the Bible. There's a whole bunch of stuff. David is trying to save your soul, troll. Since when does Chuck Schemer give anyone a deadline, says Eldon Elder. I've never really been trolled about not interacting enough with the audience in the sidebar, but that's okay. They are bots. Somebody says J2626. They can't handle the truth. Any news on the levitation movie? Unfortunately not. Don't react to the trolls. Okay, thank you guys. So this is super, super exciting because if you remember, Archangel Michael's already been giving us a deadline that was between the 20th and the 28th of August, between 3 different prophecies that we got 2 weeks ago. And one of those prophecies was the Uranus-Neptune trine as part of a big triangular formation between Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. We talked about that already. The Uranus-Neptune trine is coming in, and that could be part of where this is, you know, where it's going to come to a head. I mean, Michael, in these readings, again, you know, I have to say this at least once a show. These are various cassettes that I dictated using a remote viewing practice, supposedly guarantees 99% accurate transmissions if you do it right. They typically use it for visual images. I modified it for verbal passages. Then Pete Peterson told me that everybody was getting verbal and they had to specifically stop training remote viewers to get verbal messages because every time you start getting verbal messages, you would pick up these human Christian extraterrestrials who start wanting to give you messages that can sound evangelical, and they talk about Ascension. Well, yeah, I know who they are, and they're working with us, and we're doing this show together. Let me go turn the heater on, you guys, for just a second, because it's gotten cold in here, so I'll be right back. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to turn the heater on, okay? That'll make me feel a lot happier and safer. And we want your host to be happy and safe, don't we? Okay, hang on 1 second. Here we go. Boom, done. Yay. Okay. Sorry about that, but if you get that cold, you got to just process it and deal with it and handle it. David Rocks says, Total Todd. David, this is a great show. I love how you handle everything, says Jackie Baby. Yeah, dude, I mean, I feel so much more safe now. Like, you know, and if nothing else, then let's see if I can turn this house into cash. And, you know, $500,000, maybe I could be able to get out of it. Like, if they're willing to take $500,000, and I might be able to have $500,000 left over. So there's a lot of great equity in this house. Okay, so, and like I said, you know, 8 months of winter a year and 8,600 feet altitude, and it's so dry. I mean, my mouth is dry right now. I got to keep drinking water. So, dude, I mean, once these files release, we expect that things are going to happen very quickly. So I did the Archangel Michael readings back in 1996 through 2000. And this is the tape that we're on right now. So as I said before, I'm recording my dreams in the morning. I'm dictating them onto a tape recording. And then, you know, we're now reading them 26 years later, and they're highly prophetic of our present. And this has been going on every week since last September. What is happening? Why is this happening? I don't know. But it's really amazing and very, very cool. So, and this week we have even more time loops, and they are talking about how Everybody's going through a cosmic crucifixion. But, you know, Michael doesn't usually give us deadlines, and so when he came out and said that between August 20th and 28th that some big stuff is going to happen, I got excited. And then 5 days before that, 5 days before the first Michael deadline, now we have Chuck Schumer demanding that everything be released by then. Well, that's like a week and a half. That means I only have one more show left to do before this deadline that he's proposing would occur. I don't know what's going to happen yet, but we're all strapping in, buckling our seatbelts for this. It's very, very exciting. Thursday, July 31st, and again, I'm only taking the highlights. If you want to read all of the posts of the general, you can find it on X, you can find it on TG, and my goal here is just to give you the highlights because there was the general posts this week, there's like 100 of them or something. Not that many, but 30 or 40. I mean, it seems like it's that many. And I decided, you know what, I don't want this to be another 5 or 6 hour show. We got to, you know, apparently that's not good for sales. So Natalie Arama, $23.99. Hi, David. Thank you for showing up. Love your spirit and love from the Netherlands. Milka Arroyo Diaz. Cold in July in Colorado. It's 83 and low humidity here. Well, if you're up at my altitude, it gets cold here, and we have gone over the cliff. We are now not in the summer. I mean, today is pretty good, but like yesterday was pretty rough. Just not enough. Have any of your fans previously asked you to play tapes from 1999 for a few seconds to hear your voice? Yes, but we don't have batteries in this. I think this broke. I don't think this works anymore. I do have another tape machine, but at some point we'll do that. At some point we will do that. Thank you. Whoa, Wilcock is live. Oh my God, says Michael Galunas. Yes, welcome to the show. We have now exactly 4,000 on the nose, 000, 4,000 concurrent viewers watching live. Imagine that. So there's so many mind-blowing things that the general posted this week, and that again seems to be a source from the Alliance. What is the Alliance? It is a group that seems to have grown out of the military-industrial complex UFO cover-up, where these people have a feeling of patriotic duty to America and the world to rid us of this extraterrestrially influenced evil satanic cult, the DS as we call it. So, Tulsi has confirmed that this Operation MB is still active within this organization and says she's working to shut it down. Well, dude, that's where they're colluding with the media and putting out propaganda. So it's, I mean, all the cherries are lined up in the slot machine. You see, everything is like, yep, it's getting ready to happen, it's getting ready to happen, it's getting ready to happen. So it's a very exciting time. On Friday, Representative Luna is calling on NASA to, isn't it funny that, like, you know, her last name is Luna and she's all obsessed with UFOs? I love that. A lunatic. But no, we're not lunatics. She's calling on NASA to launch an investigation into a potential interstellar object identified by the Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb. Well, all the way back when I had Uncle Jack, mate, and he was talking to me back in the day, he's like, you know, David, we really like you, mate. We really like you, David, but you got to remember when the end of the world is coming and we're going to try to save the bacon of the DS, the last thing they're going to do, mate, is they're going to have a fake alien invasion. They're going to have some type of ship coming in, mate. It's going to be something like that. Comes right on in, and it's all so dangerous, and we're all so scared because where did this thing come from? Who made this? Where is it? And so he told me this is the plan. A little bit of, oh, Total Todd says, I like your 5-hour shows, and I listen while I'm mowing grass. How many levels above the president is Cosmic Top Secret? That's 35 levels above the president of the United States. Dang, he looks like Jack Nicholson. Ginny Blankenfeld, save the ham, cigarettes, fireworks, and bacon. Woo! Thank you, Lord Jesus. And I'll go and wear this little thing right on my head to just say how grateful I am. Oh my God, David, why did he do that? Just try to grab something for fun while I'm talking, whatever. You guys take it too far. Just joking. Anyway, cigarettes, ham, fireworks, and bacon. You drive the I-95 which I did during this particular time loop. I had just driven that. And you see these stores in Virginia all the way up the I-95 as you're driving towards New York. It's hilarious. So again, I was warned by Uncle Jack all the way back in 2010 that at the end of the game, when the DS has no other options, they're going to send out a fake spaceship that they built to try to make it look like we're having an invasion, because remember what Reagan said at the UN? If there was this threat of an alien invasion, it could unify our world. Yeah, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to unify it into a new world order that they would control, that would keep us under submission. And we don't want that. So this is a really big deal too, because they might actually try to do an invasion. That could be what this thing is. Then we have Andrew being advised to appear and testify. Well, you know, it's all coming to a head, you guys. And again, most of these stories you're not going to hear in the regular news, so you might not have picked up on all the stuff that's been going on this week, but it is exciting. And then this weird thing, right? What the hell is going on here? If you watch the video, it looks, they call it a squid-shaped UFO seen hovering in the skies over Dallas, Texas. And so what you actually see is this thing that to me just kind of looks like a hot air balloon. I mean, I could easily just see this as a balloon that somebody filled up with helium, and they just have it colored green, and there's a little light inside that's flickering, and the light flickers on and off. So it was very tricky, actually, for me to take a picture of this, because I have to wait for the flickering, and then I got to hit the button just right so that it's actually visible, because the thing keeps blinking on and off between being visible and invisible. Honestly, I haven't talked to any insiders yet. I don't know what the hell this thing is, but it's very weird. And my guess is that it's made by us, it's made by people on Earth, and it's part of getting us ready for some type of bigger disclosure. Then we have 47 saying he has no plans to make that pardon, so if you were afraid that that might happen, nope, it's not going to happen. Then he comes out and says he's ready to release everything, but he warns that it could put people in danger. So again, this coheres very nicely with the timeline of, 11 days from now. August 15th is when Schumer said this was going to be due. So let's just take a moment here. Let's work together. Let's breathe. Let's breathe in some peace now. I want you to just stay with me for a second. I'm sorry to do this, but breathe in that healing. Breathe in that peace, that all of the stress and the strain and the struggle that we've been going through could all be about to disappear. And that this is very, very exciting stuff, man. Same individuals who ran the files also were the ones pushing this narrative against him. Go figure that. And the UFO looks like a man-of-war jellyfish, somebody says. He says that these are truly evil and sick people who are operating behind the scenes. And we definitely know that. It's 1:11 right now. So then Saturday, August the 2nd, we have Dan Scavino, who's one of the top advisors of the president, and he posts the classic Phil Collins song. Somebody actually put this on my X page today, or yesterday, and so I took a picture of it. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Well, what is it that's coming in the air? I can feel it coming in the air. I can feel what coming in the air? Why would he do this? Well, the whole thing is fascinating, because what could be coming in the air could be the big fulfillment of the plan, the arrests, all that stuff. So Carrie Richens says, you're like the scientist in the last Mimsy. You're on the right track. The little girl me has handed over healing blueprints, sacred knowledge for heroes like you. BB Black, you're great at interacting with your audience, David, she says. Thank you very much. Lionsgate Energy, you're right. Thomas Flips says that. We seek truth and peace. And we're now at 4,142 concurrent viewers. I call that a big win. So Diana Silvera Olson donated $20. Vacapalo donated and says, reverse psychology with the files. I think you're absolutely right. So it's very exciting. I'm glad that we're finally at this point. James Gonzalez, thank you. The song In the Air Tonight is about your higher self talking to you. That's pretty cool. I hadn't really thought about that. I have to think about that for a minute, but I'm talking at the same time. So, are you working on a new documentary? Not just yet, but we are. I'm going to do 2 events so that we can get some income going. And again, we're probably going to do one in Boulder and one in Burbank. And I'm hoping that I can get both of those booked this week so we can start pre-selling you tickets at a discount next week. So be on the lookout for that. And again, at least for the first one in Boulder, everybody gets one of these beautiful pieces of white limestone. They're all quite attractive, and they're all here on my land. Whether I'm here or not anymore after now, because again, I might decide this is a good idea to get out of here, even if I had the money to stay. I'm not sure yet, but I definitely know I don't want to be here for 8 months of winter. So these stones are really a cool way to connect with me, and we'll get them to everybody that goes to the Boulder event at least. So now we're already up to the latest Archangel Michael time loops. So again, this was on June 1st, the morning I'm getting ready to take a huge drive here. And this was a drive, again, up the I-95, where as you go up the I-95, you see all these signs for cigarettes, ham, fireworks, and bacon. Whee! So before I left, I had a dream. And it featured this guy who was on Art Bell all the time, the top paranormal radio show, Ed Dames. And he was having a discussion with me, comparing his work with my work. And it didn't really seem like it was going anywhere. It didn't seem like there was a point in trying to liaise with him. Well, in 1999, at the time I had this, he was on Art Bell frequently talking about the idea of a solar flash that specifically would be catastrophic. And so Ed Dames and Art Bell were of the opinion that this would be very damaging to people on Earth. And Michael is clearly saying no. In the dream, I'm advised not to interact with Ed Dames because, again, it's a non-catastrophic solar flash. So right away, this conforms with the crop circle that we just saw, the exploding marine mine crop circle from World War I. The tsunami ended up not being catastrophic, but people were very afraid that it could be. We didn't know what was going to happen. So it's very, very, again, time-looped incredibly right from the beginning. So this was a direct answer to what my friend Jim was trying to tell me yesterday about how great Ed Dames was. And Michael again reassures us Earth will not be destroyed by catastrophic changers. So that very night, I made it up to New York State, and I went to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. And then there was a woman there who actually heckled me and said I was a dry drunk because in her mind, you're not really sober unless you're always going to meetings, but I didn't need them to stay sober. So that was a weird thing. But I wanted to just point out that this is where I was in the time loop. So I say on the next morning, this is the first morning of my vacation, I guess you could call it. I'm delaying the process of getting up. So I had a friend named Steve in Virginia Beach, and he was featured in 2 different contexts. There was an older Steve and a younger Steve. The younger Steve had definitely some things going on that were negative, and we were trying to fuse the 2 together. So I think this is more of a generic, I mean, again, if I didn't put these in the show, there wouldn't be any dreams at all because I was traveling and distracted, and I'm hardly remembering any dreams right now. So we're just going for the tidbits. But the idea is, yes, we're all going through this idea of fusing our positive and negative parts together into a greater love. The melting influence of love can go beyond your own existing negativity, which is good. So this involved a movie theater where different movies were being shown, and there was something about Norman Bates and Psycho. There was a murder plot going on outside the movie that was in the theater itself, and we were trying to keep this from happening. Well, this is, again, prophetic of the stopping them from doing any type of extinction level event. It also seems to be prophetic of the mass shooting that happened on Monday. We don't want the Earth to be murdered. We're trying to stop that from happening. So, a very mild dream. Then there was no dictation all the way up from the 3rd through the 6th. And in fact, this tape, again, stops on the 6th. So this is the tape that we're reading from right now. And then we're about to jump into another one when we go to the 7th, which would be the next tape in the box. So on the 7th, I am now back from my 1-week vacation in New York, and I have to go to sleep. There were significant dreams I had while I was away. One dream featured an apparent nuclear device, which was a small metallic sphere that had a sphere with a variety of small red lights spaced apart symmetrically upon its surface. Oh my God, you guys, a sphere with symmetrical bumps of red lights on its surface. That is almost exactly the Freiding, Germany crop circle formation of the mines, right? So Michael gave me a dream on June 7, 1999 that describes this visual image of the marine mines. All we have to do here, again, is take the spikes that are coming off of the sphere and turn them into red lights. And so let's go back again, look at that. One dream featured an apparent nuclear device, a small metallic sphere with a variety of small red lights spaced symmetrically upon its surface. So, dude, I mean, this really, really got me excited because it's prophetic of the crop circle that they gave us that predicted the tsunami. So, wow. Maybe there was a nuclear device. Maybe this thing actually was set off by some type of nuclear device. They were trying to create a big bad problem, and it didn't actually happen. Maybe the DS was behind this. Maybe that crop formation you're seeing here symbolizes a bomb that was set off in the ocean to try to make this tsunami. Either way, as we said, it's definitely prophetic of the undersea explosion, terrifying extinction-level event scare from this the past week. Then I got a strong sense that one group was going to try to use this device against another group. Well, that might have been what just happened in the ocean. So again, this is talking about nuclear war, very scary stuff. We're all going through that right now. A shadowy group seemed to be operating in an area dimly reminiscent of my high school hall near the gym area. And so again, the shadowy group would be like high school bullies, and these people are the bullies of planet Earth. They kept discussing a treatment that they were going to do to me in order to purify me. Uh-oh. After investigating and researching for a long time, they wanted to consolidate all of the minerals in my body and then remove them all at once throughout my rectum. Well, with no minerals, you would die, of course. So this is a kill attempt. Well, this is prophetic of you-know-what, and anything involving a trip through the rectum, it turns into a railroad spike, so it's like that's also further indicative of abuse. So purify, in this case, they want to purify you with the treatment. This is all obviously talking about the events of 2020 and that which has gone beyond. So once again, Michael is directly talking about the DS, what they've done, why they have to be held accountable, where this is going to be taking us as we move forward. So the prophecies are just hot today, dude. It's great. The mineral form of the minerals coming out of your body would emerge from your butt as a giant rusty nail or railroad spike. Well, there you go. You know what the spike is about. I also knew that once they took this spike out of you, there was not going to be any more ability in your immune system to fight off disease. This was a very serious problem we were all facing. Well, once again, it's just frighteningly, shockingly accurate. Like, oh, yeah, that is exactly what seems to happen if you get this giant rusty spike, this treatment, put into you. It does affect your mineral content negatively. It's a very serious problem. People lose their disease resistance. How did Michael know this 26 years ago? How did he know to illustrate the actual crop formation that he just put down? Well, because he put the crop formation down in the same time in his world that he put the 1999 readings down, because again, if you have a time machine, you can go to different times and you can organize this stuff. So this, again, is just a dazzling, faith-building, prophetic statement that we got from Michael here. Really quite amazing. I was able to divert them from me and avoid falling into their clutches, and I got a tremendous amount of rust that was very much needed. So this is prophetic of their defeat. Then I had another amazing dream the same day. Honors kids were in my College of New Paltz going through the cafeteria line in what we used to call Hasbrook. That's the Hasbrook complex. And they were picking out pizza. Oh, right, that whole thing. They just so happen to be picking out pizza. What's the odds? I mean, do you think Michael might know that there's now connotations? Yes, I think that's where we're going with that. I insisted on something vegan like turnips or squash. Remember, I was a vegan back then. I brought it out and put it on my plate. Gradually, a play got started in this rustic old house. It had dim reminiscences of my grandparents' lake. I ended up playing a Jesus-like figure. And I somehow knew I had ascended and I could now do all the things Jesus would have done. Well, there you go. It's an ascension dream, and it's predictive of how we are all going to be going through this incredible ascension activation as a planet. Mick Boswell, hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. Remember, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Melissa Martin, remember the Star Trek episode where the ancient monster could shapeshift? He pulled the salt out of humans' bodies with his hands and it caused people to die. That's interesting. I hadn't thought of that one. Do you believe in the talk about Earth splitting into two timelines? Well, that was what the insiders definitely said. Thank you, Charlie Winter. Thank you for your dedication to disclosure. Vinny Barbarino says, yes, the monster had suckers on the tips of its fingers. Kwan Hong Chan comes in with a big red one. On 8/12/1821, we have a mass meditation hosted for planetary liberation. Have you heard of it? I guess I am now. Could the rusty spike represent the protein? Yes, that's what we're saying. Beverly Adams, thank you very much. So again, yeah, there's lots of good stuff going on right now. It's a great time to be here, and I'm so grateful to be on the show today. So again, in my dream, once again, Michael is giving us an ascension prophecy that, as Jesus said, as I do these things, the miracles, so shall you do them, and greater things, for I go unto my Father. There were some ceiling boards. They had a hole in the middle. I descended through the hole and then entered into the room. I completely improvised my way into this play, because remember, I have ascended abilities. I levitated a few lamps in the room, floated myself around. I was making people aware that none of the tricks really mattered. The only important thing was the message of loving other people. As I continued to play this character, I was really surprised to see all of a sudden the others sprung into action with a pre-existent plot. It made it look as though they had already expected me to be doing this. They had a script that was already worked out. So even though I became ascended and I was doing these amazing tricks, people were being derisive and skeptical. And that's just the nature of the world we live in today. Then I realized, although I was going through a direct script of Jesus, I remembered that the crucifixion is part of ascension as well. That was definitely bugging me out. So this, again, is the idea that our planet and everyone here are going through a cosmic crucifixion experience that is going to help us complete our collective hero's journey. Everyone I talk to is having crazy stuff happen to them. The scenery of the dream morphed into my father's upstairs bedroom. My brother and I used to sleep there when we go to his house. And a very involved plot got started with the devil, where it was manifesting in physical form, just like that other dream I had where they're growing in these sacks. The devil was going around causing lots of trouble with people, including violent murders. This is prophetic of their upcoming exposure. And so you got the Christ symbolism of the ascension. You got the devil in physical form, and he's killing people. So this is all prophetic of what's going on right now. The devil's activity was set forth in a very cavalier style, similar to a play. It definitely tied in with honors kids. They were all trying to take pizza and other things not good for them. There it is again. At first, I tried to dissuade them from doing that and eventually took some of the food on my own plate. Then I saw a shift in the plot where I was in the forest, where this devil character was actually doing work, and he had all these different skulls with facial expressions on them, sculpted into dark gray stone, pockmarked with tons of black dots like volcanic stone. And this is when I was originally unsealing this, notice the date is June 11th, 2023. So I first read this dream in 2023 as I was building the Michael Prophecies. I was in 1999. I'm in now, I guess, book 5. And I had just gotten a tanka, the Tibetan beautiful, colorful wall hanging of the character Vajrakilaya, where he also has these skulls that he carries around with him because he's the destroyer of evil. So again, seeing the forest where the devil does his work is like us tracing back the DS to its origins, learning the truth about what's really going on, and being able to make a credible opposition to it, which is great. I saw such a large amount of evil stuff in this conventional forest that it was horrifying. It wasn't really scary since there was a certain measure of art to the evil, but I couldn't believe how much of it there was, and I wasn't sure that I liked what I saw. So then after I left the forest, I realized that somebody had written a check for my father that he had never cashed, and this happened so much, more than once. It's prophetic of my own emotional rehabilitation, getting myself earning a better income, doing conferences, maybe selling the house. I don't have to worry about money anymore that way. And again, I want to thank you in advance for supporting our work. The check that I haven't cashed could represent the idea, again, as I said, of selling the house. It also represents like just getting to see you guys. This is my family. Like when we come together at an event, that's a family reunion. And so, yes, I hope that by next week that I can have ticket sales up and running and really get myself back into a sustainable income, because so much of the insomnia and the anxiety and the terrible problems that I've had are simply from not having enough money. And so now is the time to really put the pedal to the metal, and Michael is confirming this in the time loop, so it's really beautiful. The check said business reply mail on it, which is interesting, right? That implies, again, people mailing me things implies selling conference tickets. My father wasn't sure if we could still cash it in. It was for $35 and was written in 1978 or 79, during which time I would have been approximately 5 or 6 years old. That's right when my contact started. My out-of-body experience that started this whole thing was in 1978. I was 5 years old. So that's the check for $35. Isn't that interesting? And post 35, look at the number, right? 35. Well, post 35 is one of the big posts about the mass arrests. So it's really freaking cool, isn't it? So my father wasn't sure if we could actually cash this check or not, which again, you know, in my case, I'm not worried. I know you guys are going to want to show up if I appear. I just have to do it. So thank you again for helping us. I mean, it would be great if we could get a big surge of orders, and then you're just contributing a little bit to an overall initiative that is going to totally save my butt and make me feel so much safer and happier, eliminate my debt, and everything will be fine. So I really do love that. That seems to be the end of the dream as best I can remember. I did almost forget to mention the earlier dream was about Edgar Cayce. There were taxes I had to pay to the Edgar Cayce legacy. There were also $35. I wasn't sure how to do that, but I felt like I needed to. So this is prophetic, again, of my desire to earn more money and alleviate outstanding personal debts. And Cayce was also broke, right? Cayce was broke. And he never really made any money throughout his life. That was a big source of frustration for him and his family. So it's interesting in that sense as well. So on the same day after I had this dream, I was devastated because I was expecting to imminently get $10,000 for a book deal, and then the whole thing got shot down, never happened, it never came through, and to me this was truly devastating. So I started pitching radio shows. And again, the equivalent of that now is getting conferences going. So hopefully I can get them going really soon. So here's what I wrote in my journal. I got an email from blank expressing that I was not going to get the book contract that I had hoped for. My mother came in at the last minute, assured me she would pay my rent for me even if I had no other way to get money. That was really kind of her. For a while there, I was quite scared. I went from wanting to move out to worrying about how I would keep the place I already had in a very short period of time. So then on the next day, June 8th, we have a beautiful Michael reading that comes in. We were discussing Edgar Cayce's wastrel life. He was a drinker, womanizer, as John Bainbridge, 2 incarnations of John Bainbridge in Cayce's past lives. So the reading said. He came back as his own grandson. He was the grandfather and the grandson. I might have gotten some sort of flashback on it, phrased in the present day. We were picking up various parts that had gone together to create a motorcycle. This was like a car accident had happened, including the glass for a windshield. So again, the idea of putting the parts together to build a vehicle is like our aircraft company, prophetic of building aircraft. We were walking alongside railroad tracks and picking up the aftermath from a crash. There was something that looked like a hang glider and a couple of other things. This is an obvious metaphor of my physical vehicle crashing. And again, that just means I was tired, which again I am now, because I was up all night, because I did these slides late. The third section, the Alliance slides. I was very wiped out at the time after driving many hours on the I-95 from New York to Virginia, and Stavat is rebuilding itself after we haven't had the money and have been financially busted. So again, it's a hang glider as well as an airplane, and the hang glider is an aircraft. So many references to my aerospace company in these Michael prophecies. We have great deals coming in. We had huge big news this week. This guy has accepted our offer. Hopefully we're going to move forward really quickly on this. So I do believe that it's all going to end very soon, probably as soon as I start getting these conferences out there and you can come see me live in person. Everything is going to magically heal. The hologram is going to resolve. Then, you know, if I want to sell the house, I might still do that. I've been discussing this because, you know, I got it. When I got it compared to now, it's increased in value by maybe even $750,000. So there's actually equity here that's sort of like money I could use. If I'm not going to be here till next summer anyway, maybe by then I should just move somewhere else. So that's one of the things that's very much on my mind. And it's totally in the time loop, dude. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? Rocky B. Jessica and Rocky from Arizona want to say you are part of our family. Woo! Just joining in. I'm working today. Did you say when you are doing the in-person event? I have not yet. But again, we're looking at different options. We're looking at hotel-only conferences because sometimes if you go for a hotel-only, you get a larger room. You can sell more tickets that way. And we're looking at venues that might be able to provide us with live streaming. So all those things are on the table. So again, picking up the pieces of something that looked like a hang glider or a motorcycle, very, very fascinating prophecy that Stavat is going to be rebuilt from its broken state. I love that. I went to this house. I don't even remember why I was going. My mother and brother were outside on the back patio of the house we grew up in, 621. And they were trying to have a party in the dirt places of the sidewalk. It looked dirty, and I didn't want to be a part of it. So in this case, I think that we are all seeing the people who want to have a party in the dirt, the negative, the demonic. Remember, the demonic lives in dirt. And so I actually cleaned my house. One of the things I said was, oh, okay, Michael must want me to really clean the house before I, you know, get these slides finished. So I actually did a great big cleaning yesterday. And I used, you know, Boca on the hardwood floor, and I swept and I vacuumed, and everything is so nice right now. It's really, really great. So again, this is prophetic of humanity resisting the partying in the dirty places. That could be underground tunnels, that could be evil things going on, and we're all resisting that now. Now check this out. This was one of the things that really made me think, it shocked me to my core, because this house is filthy. And it says an upgrade from filthy situations to something much more luxurious awaits you. An upgrade from filthy situations to something much more luxurious. Well, I find out now that when you have a log home that it's filthy because you're always infested. You can't keep the mice out. They always have ways to get in. I killed 2 mice just the other night. And so that's part of the problem, right? Is like, if you leave this house alone for months at a time, as my ex-wife and I, we'd come back here in like May from Sedona. Even our cleaning lady couldn't get all the mouse poop. There would be mouse poop everywhere. It's on the carpet. It's on your furniture. It's on your bed. There's literally all these turds on your bed, on your pillow, on the floor. Your car gets infested. Your whole engine in your car is covered with mouse poop. The mice get inside your car. You see little turds on your dashboard. You see little turds next to your stick shift. So yeah, it is actually filthy here, and you can get hantavirus from this. So this definitely makes me say, okay, do they want me to sell my house? Maybe they do. You know, so that's one of the things I'm looking at, as I've been saying. So maybe we're going to do that. Think of this in terms of the service that you provide and your own relative ability to become a nonstop channel for positive forces only. This is so important, right? Like all the stuff that we're going through, because this is a message to you guys as well as me. All the stuff that we're going through is similar to that message at the end of Day the Earth Stood Still. Gort the robot, which again was flagged in this week's crop formation that they still want us talking about, because it predicted the tsunami very nicely, a marine mine, okay? What did Gort actually do? Gort stopped people from making war. You could only be peaceful now. And so here's that same message. We want you to become a nonstop channel for only positive forces. And we all have to make choices in life about, how are we going to protect ourselves when we're attacked? What do we say when somebody hurts our feelings? Are we kind? Are we considerate? Do we reach out to people? Do we build bridges? Do we expand hope and consciousness? Or do we insist on being mean to people, breaking them down, hurting their feelings? Well, we're all learning to go into that Christ where we become more positive than negative. Thank you so much for being here. We're 4,129. This dream is directly relative to the questions at hand regarding your own positive polarity and the further quest to attain it therein. And so somehow I think that becoming more positive as a person will be associated with getting out of this quote-unquote filthy house here. So I'm definitely not going to be here for the winter, dude. I'm like, I've done it 4 times. I need to make sure I have plenty of money so it's easy to not have to live here, because I do not want to live here this winter. I mean, it's just way too hard, as we said. Several things need to be noted. So this reading has a lot of personal guidance in it. A further account of how positive points were taken in the past, how those personal power points may then be reclaimed in the present. Number 3, the way in which this acquiescence to the will of the higher forces will extend itself throughout all of the spheres of your workings. Okay, so let's just spend a minute and look at this. A further accounting of how positive points were taken from you in the past. That's usually your own internal weaknesses, right? You lose positivity because things, these Michaelisms, these things that like the tsunami, they look like an extreme trauma. It really, really scares the crap out of you, but then you're okay. It scares you into an awakening. That's one of the main things it does. How do you reclaim your positivity in the present? That's number 2. And then how can you have acquiescence to the will of the higher forces extend through all of your work? Well, that's what I'm doing. I mean, Michael has been very complimentary to me because every single week, every Sunday, if I can, unless there's a really bad disaster here, I show up for you guys. And I've done this so consistently. I've really haven't missed a week at all, I think, since last September. I don't think I ever took any week off. I might have done it on a different day. But you guys know you can come here and get a great show. And that's what we're doing. So this is all just, something that I think is for all of us. How can we become more acquiescent to the will of the Christ consciousness that Jesus was teaching us about? How do you reclaim that Christ consciousness in the present? The metaphor of the smashed physical vehicle, because remember it was a hang glider and a motorcycle, expresses most clearly how you have struggled with these ideas of being positive in the past. Now that you have come into an awareness of yourself and your own power, the calling that you have generated is easily answered by the higher forces. So what does that mean? That means that once you start practicing the teachings of Jesus, practicing the Christ consciousness, being forgiving, being loving, an awareness of your own power as the Christ, because we are all part of that higher consciousness, then if you generate a call, which means you pray, that's what calling is in the Law of One and in Michael's works. Calling is a prayer. The calling you have generated is now easily answered by higher forces. That's lovely. So again, very intimate, personal stuff. That means the higher forces will answer your prayers and they will get you out of trouble. So everybody's got a crisis. We were reading that earlier. That helps set up this reading because, no matter what it is, I think all of us are going to have big, big turnarounds once they do the arrests and then this solar flash happens. I mean, basically, if the first wave solar flash of 2025 that Michael always talks about is true, it's going to be so significant that you'll be able to heal yourself. A lot of people were talking about health problems. They have cancer. They have this. They have that. If you can't heal yourself, somebody else will be able to heal you. So I have a friend, Arthur, in the nursing home. He doesn't have an easy time walking right now. I've told him, if this stuff that Michael is teaching us is really true, you may be able to experience a full healing and not have to be in the nursing home anymore. So that's really great. Apollo, ultrasonic mouse repellent for cars and Amazon. Yes, there are different things you can try, but the point is, you know, those typically are very loud. My neighbor has one. It's going, you, over and over again. It's like all day, all the time. When you drive in front of his house, you're hearing this crazy noise. I don't think I could handle that, and it's right next to where my birds are all eating, so I don't want them to be scared off by that kind of stuff. So it's just a very tricky situation. How do you stop the infestation? And you really just have to have it be fought. So if I were to keep this house, I'm definitely going to need to have somebody coming here and cleaning it just to keep up with the infestation. Setting mouse traps, cleaning the mouse traps when they fall and a mouse goes in there, cleaning up all the turds that appear literally everywhere. So an upgrade from filthy situations to something much more luxurious awaits you. Yeah, I think I'm ready for that. Okay. The calling is easily answered by the higher forces. See this dream as an appealing metaphor for yourself. In other words, you were crashed out, the company was broken, now it's going to be put back together. We are moving past any waking dilemmas. Thank God, right? Like, let's get beyond this. The bread in the oven rises into being, and we are indeed quite pleased to tell you that fact. Well, this again is the metaphor of the Christ consciousness. Why? Because Jesus says, this is my body and this is my blood. It's the metaphor of communion. The bread is the body of Christ. So they say the bread rises into being, which means that we as humans are becoming more Christ-like. We are ascending. We are getting to the next level of our own evolution. The bread in the oven rises into being. So when they do this kind of stuff, it shows you how dream metaphors work and gets you more aware, like, okay, if I see bread rising in my dream, now I have a pretty good idea what that's going to be about. And actually, it's 1:44 p.m. locally right now. No one ever mentioned you have to be celibate, David. That was your own conscious construction. Keep that in mind, as even though it might have been right for you at various times, it was never intended as an overall ubiquitous statement. Someone is getting ready to take your call in a moment. Get that glass of water first. Well, someone getting ready to take your call could be that the contact is changing. There's going to be a different being coming in. They don't ever say who this being is, by the way. But it sounds like maybe we're getting to hear from the Christ. The Christ consciousness is speaking through. That could be what it's about. It also could be about the idea that maybe there will be love in my life again. Someone is ready to take your call. You don't have to be celibate. I was big into celibacy at this time, by the way. I was trying really, really hard and just convinced I was going to be by myself. I wouldn't be with anybody. And they just shot that down in the middle of this reading. So that was very, very interesting. And again, being out here in this house, you're totally geographically isolated. This is a very unpopulated area. I don't have any social circle around here, which makes it easier to potentially leave. So get that glass of water. And in fact, I am going to need to take a bathroom break pretty soon. So that's also symbolic of where we are right now. So back to the dream, I was walking along the path where hang glider and motorcycle crashes had happened. I noticed police were parked there as though they were waiting to catch someone. The person I was walking with reminded me we were safe. There was no reason for them to come after us, but we could certainly walk through it and look at the wreckage. So this, I think, is again talking about the arrests, talking about the DS, that police are parked waiting to catch someone, but we, as in the rest of humanity who is not participating in all this crazy stuff, we are safe, and the Alliance is not coming after ordinary people. So some people are very afraid of 47. Oh my God, it's going to be martial law. He's going to do all this evil, crazy stuff. No, just relax. You're not going to be arrested. It's just the people that did the most harm. And they're the ones that crashed our economy, like the motorcycle, the hang glider. And we're trying to pick up the pieces and put it back together. And part of that is going to be building hover cars, which my company is going to do. So we could walk through it and look at the wreckage. I ended up going with someone to this party. As soon as I walked in the door, it was no longer fun at all. Very unpleasant, in fact. I was greeted at once by a guy who had on a t-shirt that was black. He was acting gay, but also belligerent and confrontational. Well, this is clearly another symbol of the DS. And again, the previous metaphor is the cops are about to arrest them. So now I'm in one of their parties. Okay, that's interesting. One of the first things he did was suggest that I had a message that I had written to him that was stored in my front pocket, and he kept trying to get it from me. I looked down and realized I did have a 3x5 index card in my pocket. He was taunting and teasing me and acted like I didn't belong there when I came in, and he spotted me right away. So I think this is talking, the card represents like the files that are going to be released. They're bigger than obviously 3x5, but the files are going to be released, and they don't want us to learn this stuff, so they're taunting and teasing us. So this is clearly, again, prophetic of the coming of the release of these files. S. Nort Snoramore says, my brothers bought a log cabin in Kentucky. The government decided to freeze some Asian beetles to kill aphids, I think. My one brother was allergic to these. I bet they had to put $50,000 into their cabin to keep the aphids out. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I thought, oh, Cat Lady says, get cats to catch the mice. Good mousers, not lazy hout cats. My cats catch 1 or 2 every day, and I live in a populated neighborhood. Well, yeah, I mean, to have the cats, you have to have them there with you so that you take care of them. The whole point is, could I be in Sedona and have this place here? Well, not with cats. They would die unless I had somebody else living here. So, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I do wonder if the right move is for me to move on, because, again, I've got this house increased in value by $750,000. That's money that I can claim back. And by the time I'd get another one, it's going to be probably something I could afford that's a lot better. Are the arrests happening, David, says Jack Luca? Yes, I believe so. What about Monica, the moose? I haven't seen her in a while. Thank you, Valentine Puppy, for asking. So he doesn't want the cards to be released. Again, the names on the cards are going to be the names on the list. And I've got it in my front pocket, so this is very prophetic of what's getting ready to happen. He followed me around when I got inside the party, implied very strongly that he wanted me to be intoxicated with him and expected me to do it. There were a lot of people sitting around in the building. There was a fire in the room that was open, and I could not see any chimney. There was a girl sitting there by the fire. Her shoes were on fire, but she didn't even realize it. So this, again, is prophetic of everyone's great initiation. They're not paying enough attention to their lives. We're all going through crisis. We're not aware that we're on fire. There's economic trouble. The housing market sucks. The economy sucks. All this stuff I'm learning about as I, working on possibly selling this place. So she was also sitting next to Michael H. He was a friend of my father's who was a music journalist, just like Dad. He was always exposed to the backstage life of rock and roll bands. So here's this woman with her shoes burning next to a rock and roll journalist. And that, again, symbolizes the swamp and their control of the media, which now apparently Tulsi's going to expose. I called attention rather forcefully to the girl's shoes being on fire, which caused her to run into the bathroom. You could see the lights coming off of the shoes. The fire was an extraordinarily bright white color. She tried to take off her shoes and throw them into the toilet in order to stop them from burning. Well, I didn't actually say this in a comment, but it kind of sounds like white phosphorus, which, it gets dropped on people. It's a liquid, it melts, it burns, and it's very, very bad. It's like napalm would be an example of white phosphorus. That's one of the names of it. So now we're finally at the point where everybody's shoes are burning too much, that the heat of this initiation is too high. People want to stop the burning. They want to get beyond this and move forward. So I said, this is an interesting metaphor. Gasoline had spilled on my own shoes on my drive while I was filling up my car. Vapor pressure caused it to burp out. It certainly is very flammable. I hadn't thought of that until just a second. It might have something to do with metaphor, which I'm sure it did. Then this guy who was following me around came in again. There was a bathroom now, and it looked like all the stalls in the bathroom were disgusting, covered with mess. This guy came in after the woman had thrown her shoes in the toilet, and he was standing in front of each stall, and there was a sound like he was urinating. Okay. I think the beings are definitely telling me I need to break now and actually go take the bathroom break. Shoes on fire. Where you stand is dangerous. You're right. I hope whoever buys this house doesn't see your show. You're telling us bad things about living there. Well, these are things that you have to know. So anyway, we'll figure it out. I think somebody's going to be ready to do this. So yes, PP time. Thank you for that. Michael is even telling me to do it, so it's hilarious because I have to pee so bad. I really can't wait any longer. So here you go. We're going to get that going right now. And I think that in light of how exceptional this particular video was, we are again going to outwalk the tornado with the brother. I mean, hardly anything like this has ever happened to me. In fact, never have I seen a tornado this up close. Yes, it never came down to the ground, but I just was guided to not be nervous and to not get worried and film the video. So this was an incredible act of trust in the universe that we would be okay. Jude and I both did it. I'm going to go take a bathroom break. We'll be back in 7 minutes. I got to mute the microphone, so I will see you guys momentarily. We're at 1 hour and 45 minutes in. We're doing great on time. We might even get this whole show done in, I don't know, 2 hours and a half, 2 hours and 45 minutes. So let me mute, and I'll be right back to you guys in a minute. Okay, the microphone is back on. Let's hope it doesn't move. And we will play the tape. Thank you for watching. All right. Okay, so we got really bad storm clouds coming. We're trying to find the... We got got to find the backpack. Got to find the tools. We have to find my jacket.
Gloves.
And we have like 10 minutes before it's supposed to be a thunderstorm.
Tools.
We're already getting wet.
Treasures.
It is raining. I've got this inane chatter in the background that is extremely frustrating. I don't even want to listen to it, really. I'm just kind of done with it, you know?
Look at that cloud. It's like a funnel cloud, brother. Look at that one.
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's have a funnel cloud. Dude, that does look like a funnel cloud. What the...
Yeah, it's manifesting right in front of us.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Are we about to die here? Is this going to turn into a tornado? Dude, that is legitimately very scary. Okay, let's keep going. Holy shit, dude.
Keep an eye on that cloud.
Oh, no. Yeah, keep an eye on that.
It is literally twisting, though.
It is actually twisting.
Yeah. I've never been this close to a funnel cloud.
Well, let's hope it doesn't touch down. All right, so we got our stuff here. Finding all kinds of good things. That's one of our tools, but we got to figure out where we actually were. I think it's over here. Jesus, dude.
Look at this. Look at the twister now, dude.
It's still spinning.
Yeah.
Are we stupid? We might be. Oh, there's our stuff. Okay. Yes. Praise the Lord. Please don't kill us with a tornado right now.
Yeah, I got kids.
I got a life to live, man. I'm not done yet. All right, so this is our other quarry. The funnel cloud is kind of dissipating, or not. No, it's still spinning, dude. We should get the hell out of here.
Yeah. They got thinner, too.
All right.
There was another base camp, though. This was the secondary one.
Our stuff. Dude, that thing is still going.
Never seen anything like that. Thank God it's not going to touch down.
How do we know? Let's just get the hell out of here, man.
There was another base camp, though, because my coffee and the gloves.
Oh, crap.
That's fine. We can get that when there's no this cloud now. Look how skinny it is.
Jesus, dude. We're about to be swallowed up into the reptilian mothership.
Yeah, we better know.
And I'm getting wet. It's starting to rain even more.
You better know she got.
Jesus, dude, it's a freaking funnel cloud.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm really not the most content. But we got our stuff. We're escaping this. There's a mushroom. All right, let's get the other piece of tool here. Grab that one.
Oh, there's the gloves.
Yay. Okay, I think we're good now.
Yeah. We'll have to find that. We'll have to stone.
How's our funnel cloud has gotten even worse.
Yeah.
Dude, it's worse.
Definitely bigger.
We need to get inside the house.
It's definitely bigger.
It's crazy.
We might even have to go in the basement. That's what we do in Iowa.
Jesus, dude, it's really spinning.
Yeah. It's big, too. It's
God.
moving fast. It's moving fast, bro.
All right.
It's not going to touch. We're fine.
How do you know?
Because it's like,
How do you know?
I'm estimating, but it seems to be.
So far, it's staying above the ground, but it's moving closer to us.
I'm guessing about
It's moving closer to us. This is freaking crazy, guys.
right. We're right in the path of it.
This is crazy.
Rain and wind. It does.
It's not going any lower, though.
And this guy,
Jesus. You guys feel the fear?
I can smell it, son.
I can smell the fear, boy. You get your ass inside that house right now. It's starting to rain. You're gonna have yourself a wee bit of trouble in a minute here. You got a twister coming down, boy. You best not be disrespecting your daddy.
Oh, there's the light.
Oh my God. All right. Now we got more stuff. We made it in alive. We're not dead. Dude, let's just see what's going on out here.
Freaky, dude. I can't say I've ever been that close to it.
We're not done. We got to look and see if we're about to die. Uh-oh. And I didn't even see it, you guys. It was right there, but I was only looking at the video screen. You can hear the hail. Freaking crazy. Crazy naders, says Bhakti Deb. Angry Daddy is going to guide you, somebody said. Dude, we're getting freaking hail. What the hell is going on here, boy? What the hell? That's my broken lockup. I told you once, I told you 1,000 times. This is goddamn ridiculous, boy. How you gonna live this way? You got pellets of ice coming down like eyeballs. There's eyeballs falling out of the sky. I won't stand for this, David. You're gonna get the camera destroyed. It's all wet. What are you doing? Why are you still filming? Okay, well, we basically lost the tornado, but we gained hail. It's freaking crazy, dude. I'm all soaking wet. Look at what's happening in the driveway. Holy crap. It's all just pellets. Anyway, we're at 7 minutes, so here's another commercial break. Thank you guys for watching. My jacket. All right, I'm back, you guys. I feel a million zillion times better. I probably could have peed twice, but didn't quite have time to squeeze that in or squeeze that out, as it may be. Oh, wonk, wonk. So yeah, here's the guy who had the sound like he was urinating as he stood in front of each stall. This is our DS dude who is attacking me. Now I feel so much better, man. Wow. The stalls were disgusting. Remember, her feet were on fire. Her shoes were on fire. They had to put out the fire. And this guy came in with the shoes, and he was urinating. So there you go. It was prophetic of the fact that I desperately needed time to pee. So Michael even knew when in the show I would be in this part of the dream. That's how I interpret it anyway. 3,999. Now we're up to 4,006 concurrent viewers, an hour and 56 minutes in. Again, sorry I started a little bit late today, but had to bring the sizzle for you guys. You know, we've got, our deals are coming in fast. We're going to be very successful, and I'm super excited about it. Vakapala, would you consider the Northeast Coast for your second event? I will consider that. Thank you. It's a good idea. He reminded me of my friend Mike from college a little bit, and I realized that what sounded like urination, it's also interesting, right? Because I'm talking about the sound of urination. We had the hail falling at the end of the video. The rain sounds like pee, right? So that's interesting. It was actually him having incontinence. He had diarrhea at the back of his pants, and it was streaming in. It was so disgusting, I could hardly even believe it. There was huge quantities sitting there. It was dumbfounded by the grossness, and that's what woke me up. Well, that's how we're all feeling right now as we realize what these people really are as we put out the fire. So then Michael says, identifying former selves in the present moment is not always easy. Salmon fries and barbecue burgers have helped expose what not to do in these cases. The fur flies when we fail to realize the value and validity of our own claims and our own experiences. So, I hate to say it, but this is probably a little bit of conscious mind overlay. Fries are bad, but actually meat is okay. But at the time, I was a staunch vegan, so there might have been a little bit of, but also at the time, I was trying to hold on to the vegan promise of being totally meat-free. And so this was an incentive to me at the time to stay away from these things. But again, other places, Michael clearly tells me when I'm deep in trance enough that I'm not going to pick it up, that I should be eating meat. So there's no absolute ban on that. It was just something that probably was not 100% accurate, but whatever. It happens occasionally. So the main thing is here, do not fail to realize the value of your claims and experiences, because this will help you to overturn that former self that lives in doubt, worry, and fear. Your college drug dealer friend, I did have one of those back in the day when I was still using, was designed to make you into a leader, and he terrified me, right? He was very abusive. Taking the available energetic circumstances in your life, combining them together in such a way as to give a sudden and profound insight and meaning into who and what you really were. So yeah, I was a very troubled person back then. I can see how that might be true, I answered. He definitely had a profound effect on me. If he hadn't been so evil, I might not have felt the evilness of the whole drug trade. In that sense, his own level of negativity was very important. Also, the way he would try to conquer and enslave others was never anything pleasant, but a clear sign that he had negative polarity. So again, the dealer here symbolizes the DS, that we're learning what they really are, we're learning that they have a negative agenda, and we're fighting back. He says, that's all I want to say on that particular topic. Now that you've condemned yourself to a life without vegetables and fruits, I guess at the time I was trying to eat like cereal for breakfast. Grain doesn't really work for me at all. So he was telling me to eat more vegetables and fruit. He says we need to reintegrate those portions of the diet into the matrix so as to have the continuity and contiguity necessary to continue functioning in the present moment. Well, this is, again, a really weird, amazing, interesting synchronicity, because last night, okay, let's back up. I live in a small town. We have one health food store. And for whatever reason, their supplier had a cyber attack. They're also low on money. They're trying to raise $50,000. And I'm broke right now, so I haven't been able to help them with that, except I've made a couple of them in the beginning. But so they're looking for donations, and they're also having a supply chain crisis. And so the coconut yogurt that I love, that I typically would eat every night, and helps to keep me regular, has not been available. So I had strawberries and blueberries, but I didn't have any yogurt to put them in. So last night, I said, I really got to keep eating this stuff. Let me eat some strawberries and blueberries. And I just mixed them up with honey and a little bit of coconut water, which I did have. Not coconut yogurt, but I did have coconut water. So sure enough, as a result of eating the fruit just last night, that was one of the reasons why I kept staying up all night, couldn't go to sleep, because I kept having to wake up and I'd have another bowel movement and another bowel movement. And I said, this has got to be somehow representative of releasing all this toxic emotion out of my body. That's what the Law of One says. And there's a symbol in the bathroom of all this diarrhea, right? Well, that's what I was having. I mean, every hour I'd get up and I had more diarrhea and more releases. And I just always would bless it and say, you know what? This is a positive. It's getting me out of this toxic emotion that I've held inside me. And Michael is telling us how you're going to acquiesce to the will of the higher forces if you're on the positive path. That's really what this is all about. It was a big cleansing before our show, and I do feel very clean. I mean, so the fruit was amazing. In fact, I think the eating strawberries and blueberries before bed without yogurt was a more powerful cleanse than the yogurt included by a long shot. I mean, there's just no question about it. We're still holding true, 4,000 viewers. So again, this is very, very weirdly time looped into something that just happened to me because I just reintegrated them into my diet last night without yogurt and then had this massive, probably I've had 9 bowel movements since I did that last night. So never underestimate the value of fruit. If you're doing everything else right, but you're not getting enough fruit, you might want to reintroduce that into your diet. So that's just a thought. The very scatological quality of the dream was indicative of how these issues do still need to be cleansed from the psyche. There you go. When you cleanse your physical body, you're cleansing toxic emotions. That's the Michael message. You have indeed come to a major turning point or crossroads in your understandings of self and others. And I think, again, this is talking to all of us. We're rising up to that level where we're only going to do good. Indeed, this has come about through the intellectual grace of finally and divinely realizing the preeminent importance of loving yourself with equal zest and fervor upon which you love and work for others. And I think this is something we all need to work on. It's codependency is such a big problem where people give away all their power to other people. I mean, I used to be like that a long time ago, but I know many people still struggle with that. It's all too easy to fall prey to manipulators, and you just want to maintain your own self-love and remember that if somebody else is trying to get you to hurt yourself or they're trying to hurt you, then you might want to rise above that and just be able to love yourself, which I think is a very good thing. You can also see how such a simple question can be approached from a systems perspective, seen in much more detail. Namely, the person who truly loves themselves is brought up to believe certain things about the way the universe works. As these things are reinforced, so too does the love for self and others increase accordingly. So yeah, it becomes a self-referencing system. The more happiness you can maintain, the more that you're open to talking to people, the more that your life is going to expand and they're going to give that love back to you and you're going to feel better. So it is hard for me to live out here in the middle of nowhere, and getting into an area where I'll be able to have more friends and acquaintances is definitely a good idea. The only thing that was required was for you to plug yourself into the equation and figure out there was still some unfinished business there that you needed to attend to. We do feel you have done this quite adequately well. Again, I think this is talking to all of us. The design that is in place utilizes your best aspects while considerably straying away from the feelings of need and longingness in the past. Right, the more loving you are, the more people will love you, and the less needy and longing you'll feel. Yes, indeed, you are still at the crest of the wave. I didn't have time to highlight everything because I was doing this all last night. The crest of the wave is the tsunami. Again, just a dazzling prophecy about what just happened, the crop formation. He had the dream with the nuclear device that was a sphere that had the red lights on it that are evenly distributed. We're still at 4,000 people. Thank you guys for being here. It's really, really great that you're here. Yes, indeed. In fact, let me actually, right now, I'm going to actually make that yellow just because it's such a great prophecy. We'll leave it that way for the future so we can use it in future shows and highlight that it was prophetic. Okay, let's go back again. You are still at the crest of the wave. That's the tsunami. As you will now find, the dreams will reveal a new layer of depth and meaning to the experiences of your life. Now, for the first time, you will begin to see all of the events in your life through the lens of having never fully loved yourself until the present moment, when the ultimate importance of this awareness has finally dawned upon you fully. Now, originally, the word was penultimate, and I took the pen off because penultimate means second from ultimate, second from the top, penultimate. So we just changed, because that was just my conscious mind's distortion. We have a donation that came in. Adventure Peaks, $100, 100 pounds. Wow. David, what do you know about the so-called dog-men cryptids? I don't know anything about them. Are they connected to Anubis? Are they demonic or just another creature like Bigfoot that lives and hides from humans? I honestly don't know, but that's a good question. David should move to Ithaca, New York. He'd totally fit in. The property is cheap and it's close enough to New York City. I have been to Ithaca. It is nice. And we do have a facility right near there, so thank you for that suggestion. Do appreciate that. All right. So we're at the crest of the wave, and now we're learning to see all the events of having never truly loved ourselves until now, when we finally realize that this has ultimate importance. So again, the fear that we might have been killed by a tsunami, if you lived in Hawaii, for example, that gets you to call out to the universe more, to pray for your help, to pray for your life to be preserved, and it's all going to be good. You know, everybody's going to be fine. In our statement to you regarding your passage to the 6th density level of compassionate wisdom, remember they said that last week, that I was going to become 6th density? That's pretty shocking. In your understandings, there was implicit within that statement the fact that compassion itself was where you needed to be focused upon the most. And so it's really compassion for yourself and others. And if you don't have compassion for yourself enough, then you let others take advantage of you. It was a rather short step for you to make to realize that compassion for self was made paramount in that case. And thus in the dream, again, she had her burning shoes and we had to put the fire out, and then the toilets and stuff. You see how it is a whole series or cast of characters from your past have indeed helped you to understand how you yourself are burning your own shoes off right out from under you. So they really wanted us to get this spiritual teaching this week, obviously. The gas karma, where the gas splashed on your shoes on your big trip, was necessary to help illustrate in the present moment of how you are still indulging in former habit patterns by driving too aggressively on the highway. Me? Yeah, I was. I don't do that anymore, but I was back then. We do apologize for that gas spill as it was destructive to your personal property. But again, it was a warning about driving too fast. And so the hot shoes, you know, now take on a new meaning. Like my burning shoes, the woman's burning shoes in the dream was a symbol of me driving too fast, putting my feet on the pedal too hard. That's what that was about. This dream helps to put the capstone on what the metaphor truly represents, since you had completely missed it. So then at the time I did the transcript, I said what they were referring to was on my return trip from New York to Virginia, the gas pressure in my tank caused gas to burst out and land all over my left sock and shoe. I tried to get back on the road and ignore it, but then my skin started to burn really badly. While I was driving, I took off the offending shoe and sock and tossed them to the side, spraying water on my foot from my water bottle, rinsing off the gas. I didn't even stop driving. And I didn't do anything else because it stopped burning at that point until I got home and I actually walked into the house with one shoe on and one bare foot. Why? Because I like to make good time and I don't want to stop if I can avoid it, which is another stupid thing. I don't do that anymore. That's why I got to take bathroom breaks on our show. I did not really see at the time that it was related to my driving because I was in a very strange headspace. So then I say to Michael, well, I do thank you for giving me these messages, even if they are rather intense. I have always said that you have had my permission to do whatever means necessary to bring me to an understanding of the truth. And I'll tell you what, after the Hawaii tsunami this past week, I'm like, wow, did I really say that? Did I really give Michael permission to do whatever he wants to bring me to the truth? Maybe that's not such a good idea, you know? Maybe we should rethink that, hey, Michael, you know, you're the Lord of Karma. You're the ultimate justice in our third dimensional reality. Go ahead and do whatever you want. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Burning feet, Vakapalo says, is shedding light in your path. Yeah, I would agree with that too. So again, did I really want to tell him, do whatever you want to bring me to the truth? Maybe not. But, you know, I've had a good run here. And again, whatever, you know, I've been through a whole bunch of trials and tribulations. I haven't had money. It's been lonely living here. But if the work that I'm doing now is leading up to these arrests and it's going to save the world, it is so worth it. It's so amazing. So again, thank you guys. You are my family. Thank you for being here. I'm so appreciative for your presence here today. 4,000 people is a big, big audience, and I love it. All right. And you are right, I said to Michael. I only considered it a nuisance. I did not have any further understanding that this gas on my foot was a synchronicity telling me to slow down, but it was. And then he says, your idea of using dishwashing liquid with a sponge is exceptionally good. This will get rid of the remainder of the odor. He was talking about my shoe. Keep that in mind. This is just very practical advice. It is not necessary to again douse your entire shoe with water as you have already done. Now he suddenly changes topics and goes into something very significant, very much in the time loop, right? He says the Bilderbergers, or corporate elite powers, do indeed have quite the intimate stranglehold over the worldly affairs of your planet as they now stand. It is correct and accurate for you to maintain a constant vigilance over the study of these interconnected rates and obligations of service, as there will be a time where you may be well positioned to discourse on these events. Well, since I'm already doing that now, I think this is prophetic of mega publicity in the future, where I will be well positioned to discourse on these events for the planet. What events? The stranglehold that the Bilderbergs have had over the worldly affairs of the planet. It's going to be very, very shocking to people when they discover how bad this whole thing really was, how bad the DS really was, how evil they are, how much we've been oppressed, the level of criminality that's gone on. And again, I think we're all excited, right, that you get to be here with me watching this show when most people don't know about this, and we haven't brought this out to the world yet. It's a very exciting time to be alive, and I'm really, really thrilled to be here with you. Thank you for being here today with me. I so appreciate your presence here. Mount Shasta, since the summer solstice, says Mark Justice. Project Skyfall says, I had a dream my mother was knitting. She never knits while she was alive. Julia Weingart says, I'm glad you're having a good week. Well, it's a great week because, again, you know, we got this really amazing deal that could happen very quickly. Why is the letter in the background flipped horizontally? Well, again, let's see if it'll come on now. Let's try that. Well, I think this one might have died too. But anyway. Oh, here we go. I see what it is. Yay, we fixed it. Okay, so now for that person who wanted that to be fixed, let's take a look and see what we got. Boom! Oh yeah, it's fixed. Okay, perfect. It had actually, the blueness index had gotten turned down to 0. Maybe that's what's wrong with this one too. Let me just find out. Hold on. Oh yeah, look at that. No, it's got no life left. Okay, anyway, I got to buy some more of those, but hopefully you guys are going to buy conference tickets, make me a very happy person, and we're going to come out to see you. This is a big deal. I'm really excited about it. Chris is going to be there. We're going to be talking. We're going to try to get as much disclosure out as we can. Chris has never really shared with you the full extent of his experiences, many of which are similar to Pete Peterson. We want to make some major breakthroughs, talking about things that he's never revealed before. And he and I really need to sit down and actually hash out an outline, which I'm going to do this week. Then we're ready to sell tickets. So again, that's another example of me being well positioned to discourse on these events. So that's very exciting about the potential of future arrests in the near future. He says, although evil can be usurped by compassion, it is necessary for the evil to be there at this time. And thus, a certain measure of acceptance, though not necessary acquiescence, is quite good. We have always fought for you to escape from the clutches of this system and to reclaim your own personal power as such. Now, in the present moment, you can indeed see your own evolution is a tricky business, and we are moving further and further in this direction. We've used the metaphor of the shoes with you before, namely in your ability to walk into the higher realms. As you move away from patterns of the past typifying drug usage, it is no longer necessary for you to burn yourself from the fires of carnal forces. You have indeed also come to another very important point, which is this. Until you really understood the difference between sexuality and spirituality, and recognizing that the two are interwoven in the higher sense, there was indeed a problem. That's right. He said before, you don't have to be celibate. And I was just looking at all sexuality as something bad, but now he's saying, no, sexuality and spirituality can actually be integrated. Imagine that. We will always advise you not to go after women if the basis of your argument is in their favor is a sexual one. However, what you have missed up until recently is the fact that the spiritual component is a quite valid aspect upon which the precepts for a relationship may be formed. Your successes and failures in the past do have a great deal to do with your knowledge of self in the present. We applaud and commend you for your recent understandings garnered over your vacation break from this work, wherein you made new realizations. The most impressive realization was the fact that you yourself did not show compassion for self directly, but rather sought an unmitigating self-perfection that has no final destination point, but rather is just a continuing quest for self-perfection that has no known ending points or boundaries. Yes, busted. Busted. Oh, you guys are giving me all kinds of thumbs up here. What is going on? Hi all, love from England and myself. David, I consider you as family too, says Tammy Dayton. I'm alone with my dog Rhett. When I watch your show every Sunday, it feels like home. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. My love to you, David. Richard Collins says, blimey, mate. Nancy Jervinen says, I'm in my summer holiday now. My pal Sal Vintage says, I may be insane, but it sure is fun. Susie Q, I appreciate you and your positivity. We need much more of it in the world these days. Love and light to you. Bella's Patio Garden, you are family, David. Thank you guys so much. I mean, it really is an honor to have 4,000 people watching. I take that very seriously, and I'm really glad that we can be here today together. So this is so me, you guys, like the unending quest for self-perfection that has no known ending points or boundaries, because I'm just constantly changing. So can you get beyond that? Can you get beyond always setting the bar higher and higher for yourself, never being happy enough? And can you get to the point where you actually just simply love yourself, you know, without having to have everything perfect? That's a big, big lesson, you know. There can be parts of your life that are not worked out. There can be parts of your life that might hurt you down the road. You don't have to obsess on that. Daddy seems not so angry today. Yeah, Charlie Winter. I'm in a really good mood. So David looks dapper, says Project Skyfalls. Thank you very much. Pip, pip, cheerio, and all that rot, mate, says Richard Collins. All right. So, dude, I really ought to, like, you know, make some type of shortened version of this and put it on the wall and hang it on the wall, because it's so me, the unending quest for self-perfection with no known ending point. This means you're not really showing compassion for yourself, and I definitely need to learn that, man. That's a huge lesson. Within that quest, there is then the need and desire to psychoanalyze the self incessantly and try to reveal where your blockages might lie. This is the person who's obsessed with perfection. So you're always analyzing yourself. I was doing that all last night. I just could not stop thinking. I'm lying there in bed. I got my mind all worked up because I was doing these slides before bed. Since this was the fullest extent of your availability of love for self, there was not much more that you could do besides this at the time. Psychoanalyze yourself incessantly. You're always looking for the problems. And for that time, that was okay. The ultimate discipline was of self with a capital S. This is bringing in the higher self, right? That's where you're going to learn to love yourself. It is very important and wise that you garnered this understanding on your own. That's how we have to do it. That's natural awakening. We do consider this to be a dimensional shift in your awareness. Well, that's what they're anticipating for all of us. We're all going to go through something like that. The ultimate... I guess we needed to see it twice. With your newer ability to appreciate the validity of the arguments for self-help and the need to love yourself, we do indeed reach a new plateau in your awareness, and that is quite marvelous to see. Well, the area that I live on is a plateau. It's like a mountain plateau, and so a new plateau could again be symbolic of my actually moving. So, you know, Michael is definitely giving me messages and I'm listening, and maybe it's better to just get the cash out of here and get the heck out, because by next summer, I'll probably do something that's a lower altitude and I'll be a lot happier. But if I wanted to have another place, or maybe I'll just want to be in Sedona. I don't know. I'm very open-minded about it right now. You see, there can indeed be sixth-density wanderers who awaken to the need for this truth, but then do not implant all the wisdom necessarily imparted by the fifth level. So they don't really learn how to love themselves. So, David, your work is definitely an interesting bridge between worlds. I think that's true. We're all learning from my mistakes as I go along. And we do appreciate that fact. The cows in the pasture have come home, and we consider and appreciate the fact that within your own galaxy, and then the tape flips over, Now we get a whole big passage that he says on the next side. The entrainment or the repetitive looping of the processes in the present are soon to be circumvented by the explosion of new energy from the galactic center. Well, they just had a bomb in the crop formation, which is again symbolic of that we get this energy from the galactic center that surges into our sun, causes this solar flash, and creates this ascension event. And the crop circle totally predicts the solar flash in multiple ways, as I was telling you. So amazing, right? The crop circle and then the solar flash prophecy, and it's in the 1999 reading in our time loop. Very exciting. There is a certain manifestation of an energetic presence that will be physically visible as the sun does its solar flash. So yes, we are going to see lights in the sky. We're also anticipating massive aurora borealis. That's why I think Fatima had all the colors around the ship. The ship blotted out the sun. You could see the stars, and then the UFO flying saucer from 1917 starts shooting out these huge colors in the sky. That could be symbolic of massive aurora borealis that we're going to have when the solar flash actually goes off. And so this is an exciting prophecy because, again, you know, I always focus on, oh my God, this is wrong, that is wrong, there's all these problems. How about we don't focus on problems? How about we focus on solutions? I want you to do this too. Discipline yourself. I mean, dude, I didn't know but what, like I said, I was going to have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, drive down into Boulder, and I called this number. Nope, you don't have to go to the jury duty. Whoa! So that means I get to sleep tonight. That means I'm not going to have insomnia. That means I'm not going to, you know, everything's going to be good. So I want that healing for you. I want you to experience the healing that comes from the confidence that builds inside yourself of learning to love yourself and not expect that you have to be perfect about everything. Nancy Laval says, sorry I arrived late. Have you said anything about Hope's announcement regarding the landings of the cast of religion? I don't know what you're talking about, but I guess that would be no. The shirt and beads remind me of Steven Seagal and the Glimmer Man. Awakened One, I think we're going to see some totally awesome stuff. Taos, New Mexico is supposed to be super spiritual. I live in upstate New York. I would love to connect with you about energy healing. Christina M. David, I've been listening to you, says the Blue Terra, since early 2000s. You are like very close family member. I lived in Sedona for 23 years and I'm now in Florida. Paul Cannon, anything you focus your mind on will give that thing more power. I'm not perfect. I love it. I make myself laugh so much, says Bohemia. Vicky Crew Fuller, learning to love yourself is the thing. Get out on the land in Sedona. It is magical and awesome. I totally agree. You ever seen the film They Live, says John Smith? Yes, absolutely. Gene Novacek, learning to love and forgive yourself is truly difficult. Medbed information update, please, says Lexi Abbey. Yes, we're going to be, once we get this funding coming in, one of the first things we're going to do is work on the hover car. We can prototype the hover car for surprisingly little money, under $1 million, maybe even well under $1 million, depending on how we do it. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff is coming together. Did you hear about the Pope's announcement regarding Fatima? No, I did not. What is the announcement? Does anybody have that? I've been to Sedona. The vortexes are amazing, but now there's so many people there, the energy isn't as strong as it used to be. Well, I don't know. I'll find out. Move to Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, because it's warm down there. Yeah, I definitely want more warmth. I'm sun-starved. I'm warmth-starved. And we've already pretty much lost our summer. Like I said earlier this week, we had crazy wind. It got cold. I had to put blankets back on my bed, and I couldn't sleep because it's bang, 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 all these wind noises during the night. It's crazy. I'm definitely ready for this. Sorry I'm not being so funny right now, you guys, but I am tired because, again, I ate strawberries and blueberries, and then I was pooping like every hour all night. Just its massive cleanse came out of me, and that was in our time loop. So wow, an explosion of new energy from the galactic center, which really means it's going to go through the sun. It's just gating it from the galactic center. And there will be an energetic, physically visible manifestation. And that is an important part of understanding how this cycle functions. So yes, I cannot wait for that day. It's in the Quran, it's in the Bible, it's in the Bhagavad Gita. All these ancient teachings talk about this. Very, very exciting. And again, here it is in the Friday circle, perfectly stylized explosion of energy from the galactic center, going off like a bomb. It won't hurt us, just like the tsunami didn't hurt us, and it's a marine mine in the ocean. Your liaison with John Major Jenkins has been quite profitable for you, and he's dead now, but at the time he had written the book, obviously he is still the author of Maya Cosmogenesis 2012. He was the first real colleague who I ever actually reached out to besides Richard Hoagland and just made contact with him. And it turns out, we talked on the phone, he called me the fount. He said, David, you have so much information. It's so great. You know so much stuff. I love hearing you speak. And a lot of times people in my field won't be honest with me like that. They won't compliment me like that. So yes, he'd already complimented me by this point. It's very, very cool. We applaud the continuation of your liaison with John Major Jenkins in many other ways as well. Well, unfortunately, he's dead now. But again, this was probably just talking to me more in the 1990s. This raises a distinct and interesting point, namely to realize that a distinctive aspect of your own evolution is to move past the need to generate scientific information and into the ubiquitous acceptance, ubiquitous means all-encompassing, the ubiquitous acceptance of the need to study compassion and the sacramental nature of all things. So yes, technically speaking, scientific information is a fifth density understanding. Compassion is a sixth density study. So what they're really telling me now is that you've been so focused on the fifth density, intellectualism, the science and stuff, these very, very long shows that last 5 hours, and now people are telling me, oh, you can't make any money if your show's that long. Oh, well, we're doing okay, you know. We just got to sell conference tickets. Sacramental nature of all things and the need to study compassion is where they want me to go now. And so you notice that these readings this week are very much focused on how can we be more loving? How can we activate our Christ consciousness? Which is great. You might indeed want to read through your Zen books again as a way to engage this higher learning in your day-to-day studies. Well, yeah, if I can't sleep, which has been happening from the mass consciousness lately, I've had those things happen. I've been meditating in bed, and I'm doing a Zen type of meditation. John's book is good for you as well, but take it in liberal doses. As you yourself know, you cannot force yourself to read too much of it at once. Well, again, this is talking to me in the 1990s now. Do use a bookmark. That is important. All right, let's get out of here, he says. And so we have 2 donations. The Appalachian beat the Rockies all year round, says Vakapalo. And then Jim Garrigas says, great message, David. I am awaiting 6th density. Maria Sinclair, you should literally hug a tree. It will expand your aura. 47 gave a whole speech about windmills. He is totally against them for the environment. He feels they just turn into trash you can't get rid of. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Windmill power is not a good, it's not fuel efficient, actually. You can do it, but it costs a lot more than other methods that we already have. It's not really green. But we got very good power plant solutions. So he says, all right, let's get out of here. It has been good to speak with you again, David, and it is always exciting when you've made so much personal progress in between our sessions that we actually have this much new information we need to tell you. We do understand that even though we might have stated the need to love yourself in the past, there is indeed an inestimable value in realizing the ultimate importance of loving yourself for yourself. I think I'm really getting there now. I mean, so much of, I'm just going to be self-disclosing because Michael is forcing me into this, you know, to say this. I'm not forcing me, but he's encouraging me. Like, yeah, I've had that self-critical nature where I'm always running these ideas in my mind, and when I'm lying there in bed not sleeping like I was last night, my mind just jumps from one thing to worry about to another to another. Well, there's this, and then there's that, and then there's this, and then there's that, and then this. Oh my God, you know, just please stop with all the self-criticism. That's what we don't want. It's inestimably valuable to realize the need to love yourself. That is the main point. It's interesting, isn't it, that Michael's messages are overall, they're not as time-looped as other weeks, but he's really coming in and stressing the need to love yourself. I think because we're very close to the Alliance doing its arrests and all these cool things we were expecting would happen. It's coming in very soon now. So we do again applaud you in your efforts to come to these realizations on your own. The participants in the pool all await for you to dive in with them. We do look forward to your own diverse passage into higher realms. Now, what are the participants in the pool? Well, it could be like a press pool. Again, this could be prophetic of me getting involved with the Alliance and talking to the press pool. And the idea of ascension, obviously, passage into higher realms. Diverse, meaning everybody on Earth is going to be able to do this. And again, another layer of the participants in the pool, like if it's a sea of consciousness, it could be Archangel Michael, many other angelic beings. This reading is so on top. I love it so much. Says Jean Novacek. She donated $50, and she says, thank you very much. That is awesome. Ishmael Perez just moved to Sedona. Okay. Tomorrow I'm going to eat the bacon hamburger, says Ansi Jervinen. Okay, you can do that if you want to. I'm not going to stop you. So again, we do look forward to your own diverse passage into higher realms. Do not fear failure or that the vortices and prophecies will fail to occur. Thank God. Because doesn't it feel scary, man? It's like, I hope this is going to work. Keep your chin up and your head forward and remind yourself that you are loved more than you could ever possibly imagine. This is an about-face message that can indeed show you what we have always been saying to you. It is something you now must do for yourself. To love yourself more than you could ever possibly imagine, with equal zest and fervor for which you love others. Now that this is all starting to arrange itself in your mind, you will see the effects throughout the various frozen blockages of linear time as a result. Meaning, hopefully that means my company's going to get funded. Maybe I'll sell the house, and we are glad for that fact. Thank you, David. Peace be with you. In the light of everlasting love, we are now ending this reading. Woo! So again, as I say every week, you can go to thedisclosure.com, put in the discount code concrescence, and you can get all of the Michael prophecies available for order. But now we are going to dive into the latest Shadow of Ezra posts. And so let's go ahead and do that. First of all, we saw this one last week, that Dan has been changed forever from the evidence he saw, and they show you Hillary's silhouette in the background. Apparently the laptop has this very nasty stuff on it. You don't see a creature, but you hear everything, and the New York Police Department really didn't like that. So Colonel Robert Fairlawn is the one who told us, yes, there's some very disturbing stuff in there, but I doubt that the public is going to get anything this severe, at least not right away. If they did, it would probably, again, they said, the truth could land 99% of the people in the hospital. So we want to be really careful about not freaking people out. So what exactly did he see? Well, the truth is going to shock the world, whatever it was. And it says right at the bottom here, only witnessing crimes against children can shake somebody this deeply. It has shaken him to his core. The truth is darker and deeper than anyone imagined. What I've uncovered, he said, has changed me forever. This is not how our republic survives. There you go. So then, again, they've got Hillary's silhouette on the right. So clearly it's something she was involved in. And when people find out that that might have been happening, man, are they going to freak out. And then somebody said, I wonder what he has seen. So then we saw this, actually, no, this is the first new one we had, where Schumer is accusing him of hiding something, that the name is buried in the files, hiding something dark, called a surprise recess to shield him from getting exposed. I don't think that's true. Anyway, 17, there's our magic number. And focus on the power of the president with the Marines, that we have this former president traveling in advance of the president to foreign locations. Military intelligence will be applied to prosecute bad actors and circumvent corrupt agencies and judges. Everything they do has been forecasted and accounted for. So this is, again, something that we see many times, but it's always exciting to see it again. So then James said, we have a right to know what it was that shocked him to his core. People probably won't be able to handle the truth, but at this point, more harm would come from not having it. I agree. And that's the same thing we already read, so we don't need to read it twice. We are all going to get the answers we deserve. As with any investigation, I cannot promise you where it will land, but it will be honest and dignified to get to you to the truth. Not my truth or your truth, but actually the truth. God bless America and all those who defend her. Wow. So then somebody says that if you actually trans your child, that, it might work out for you in a positive way within this group. This is Mike Smith, filmmaker and stuntman, claiming that these two things are symbolic acts of loyalty, points to the rising number of stars who have this situation going on, and he asks how many more celebrities must lose loved ones in tragic accidents before people see the pattern. So this is, again, documenting the massive wake-up that's going on. 1.1 million views, 85 seconds, brings us to this one. Who do you hire for a hit and can be eliminated after the job is complete? So yes, that's how they do it. They hire people and they use various organizations. So then we have Joe, who's refusing to host the so-called ... And his eldest son apparently claims that Joe has pushed years of this propaganda. I don't know if that's true, but he has previously stated that he believes that something very bad is going on. So again, our biggest celebrity in America right now is not willing to have this guy on the air. That's pretty significant, isn't it? Again, minute and 25, again post 85, second iteration, twice in a row, back to back of the same thing about eliminating your enemies with murder. So who do you think they're talking about? Oh, they got to be talking about BN. Yes, that's exactly the point. That's who they're talking about. And, we're getting an awakening now. So that's really what they're trying to say, is that hired hits are being done. So again, we had this one where he's asking what shocked him to his core. And then they show this funny video of very suspicious things happening while someone is dancing. Right in the Netherlands, the nether regions, there's something bouncing around that might not normally be there. So post number 23, military intelligence has the same special access protocol as other three-letter agencies after 2001. Why is this relevant? Well, yeah, because the military can actually use surveillance for the good. And so the company thinks that they're strong enough to defend against the U.S. executive, but they didn't account for using the military on domestic soil. That's the end of the plan. That's the arrests. So again, we've seen this one many times, but it's always fun to see it. One of the most embarrassing moments in history, if not the most embarrassing moment, he says. 2.4 million views. Again, the files were the same exact stuff that everybody had already seen. Nobody was excited. Post number 23, once again they did that. So it's again another repetition of the same one twice in a row, which really again shows they're clearly in control of how many seconds these videos take. Now, in 20 years, the California politicians have lost, supposedly, $24 billion, leading to a housing crisis. Are you kidding me? Yes. He said it's wasted and they can't show where it went. They have had no accountability over 20 years. They've lost $24 billion. He also blamed them for a cost of living crisis, saying policies turned apartments at 600 into apartments for 3,000. Absolutely. You can't even get anything any good for less than that in California. In certain cities, at least, like LA. So 4 minutes, 16 seconds is number 256. Dates 25, 27, 28. Oh my God. You get it? What did Michael tell us last week? He said it's all going to come in around the the Uranus-Neptune trine of August 28th. That's what Michael gave as the deadline for when this was all going to come to a head. And that's what Archangel Michael said. And now he links to this post 256, which says the dates of the 25, 27, and 28. Stringer, Red Asia. I mean, who knows what that means? Analyze the connection, learn to read the map. So this is, again, a gratuitous shout out to Archangel Michael's prophecies from the Alliance, suggesting, you know what, maybe it really will be the 28th, because it sure looks like they're getting ready for something big right now. I'm so excited, you guys. I can't even believe it. Then we have Wild Bill. Yeah, we have a biotech kerfuffle, synthetic. Oh, my God. He's been given approval to spray this stuff on the crops through his company, Tirana. This is a gene silencing technology that bypasses the DNA and rewires the plants at the RNA level, which means that your food, soil, and gut could now be controlled by biotech. No labels, no consent, no long-term safety studies. Panic at your leisure. Well, this is why military is the only way forward, right? This stuff can linger in the soil, spread in pollen, possibly affect your microbiome, all from emergency use laws to protect their liability. So again, I think it'll be easy to figure out who's doing this with their crops. If it's a new idea, let's hope it takes a while to spread. Try to eat organic as much as you can. Perhaps Michael wants us and your family in Colorado on the 28th, says Vacapala. I don't know. It's a little bit too soon, but we'll see what kind of dates are available. So then we had post number 188, which I guess I didn't get. So let me see if I can grab that right now. Sorry for the delay, but post number 188 is not in here. So we got to get it in there. Okay, so hold on a second. If I have it in my list, and we'll throw it right in. Otherwise, we don't have it. Okay, so let me go and take a photograph of this off of the internet because this is something new. We'll figure out what the heck post 188 says. Okay, just give me a second. We're going to do this really quick. It doesn't take very much time, but I think at this point we deserve to see what 188 says. So let's get in there. All right, hold on. Oh, it's the image of the owl. Okay, hold on. I'll take a picture of it and we'll throw that right in. It's the image of the owl in DC and how it looks like an owl when you look at it from the top down in the way that the streets are outlined. So we'll throw that right in there, and then we haven't missed anything. Okay. So, whoops. Post number 188 is this right here. And again, so back to the context real quick. He's spraying this stuff on there. Again, it's all showing. This symbolizes Moloch, the owl-headed deity, which they're really into. Black Swan Sybil just donated $100. Thank you very much. Sending good vibes. Did you get a chance to watch National Treasure? Hope to see you in October, Christy and Eric. Yes, I have seen National Treasure, and it's really great. What if the military busts down the wrong door? No, I think they're going to be fine. Anyway, we're not doomed. Everything's going to be good, you guys. Don't panic. Don't freak out. Okay, so next, this star from the NBA says the whole world is a staged performance, carefully scripted and controlled, claiming many celebrities aren't even real people. They are actors playing roles and pretending to be human. That's a little bit beyond what I might say. But again, they're just trying to get you thinking, what if these people have an alien influence of some kind? Telepathically is where I would really see it, spiritually. 2.5 million views, and look at that, 1 minute brings us to post number 60, counting the number of people who actually are doing this plan inside, the most classified world. There's less than 10 of them, and only 3 of them are non-military. And they never divulge. So then this tragic event, they tried to write him off as being a Middle Eastern man. Does he look Middle Eastern to you? No, that didn't last very long. Obviously, you can tell he's not. So no video on that one, which makes it move faster. Now, all of a sudden, we're finding out he was a high school football star. His name is Shane. He won 6 awards and played in Canada. And the building he targeted today had the head of the NFL. So maybe he was pissed off that he didn't get in there. I mean, who the heck knows what really happened? We'll never know because he's dead now. But here he is, 7.4 million views, and post number 34. Could this possibly be a coincidence at this point? My answer would be absolutely not. So let's dig into that again, figure out what we got here. So, my fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, and they just gave us these dates, you will undoubtedly realize we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from evil tyrants. Sorry, went too fast. Taking back our country from evil tyrants wishing to do us harm. On his orders, we have initiated fail-safes to safeguard the public from a primary fallout slated to occur when so-and-so is arrested. And again, we've talked a lot about 11.3, that's the DoD Law of War Manual, about enemy occupation of your country. Confirmation to the public of what is occurring will be revealed then. That is so exciting, dude. I mean, it's not going to be covered up anymore. It will not be openly accepted. People are going to freak out. I mean, what do you mean these people are evil? Public riots are being organized in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more serious public officials. So you better believe that they're telling us this is going to happen. And the reason that this guy was doing the shooting was they're trying to make everybody upset so that it's harder for them to do something like this. And they're hoping that more people would want to get out there and be violent. That's my guess. On his order, a state of temporary military control will be actioned. Special operations will be carried out. False leaks have been made as well, retaining several people in the confines of the U.S. Rest assured, the safety and well-being of everyone is being protected in full. The atmosphere will be divided. So many people have fallen for this corrupt, evil narrative. And here it comes. We will initiate the emergency broadcast system during this time to provide direct messages and bypass this fakeness for all citizens. Anyone who is an organization or person wishing to do us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. Remember, we had dreams about that last week, 2 different dreams about military in the streets. Certain laws pre-lifted to provide them the necessary authority to handle and conduct operations at home and abroad. Wow. I mean, they've done 2 different iterations of the same post twice in a row. Now we get number 34. Is this really an accident? No. This is going to happen. It's going to make life very, very exciting. It's going to be, I cannot wait. And I've got my food. I'm ready to go if there's a power outage, whatever. So again, have your stored food, stored water, whatever it takes. I always get here so late, says B. Johnny. Please hang in there with everything. We are on the hero's journey, and so are you. Well, again, I had a really great week. Stuff is just popping like crazy for our company. I think we're very, very close now. We've got this deal. We got that deal. There's like 4 or 5 deals that are all just coming in really quickly. So then we have the shooter who actually, as I said at the beginning of the show, a top executive from Blackstone, not BlackRock, but Blackstone, was killed. Why did that happen? Was this guy going to squeal? Was this guy going to talk? Snitches get stitches? It could be. Maybe he was getting ready to blow the whistle on something really big, and they said, let's go send in somebody with hypnosis. He used to be in football. We trained him up. Let's use him. Top executive's name was Wesley LePatner, and he was the Core Plus Real Estate CEO of the Real Estate Income Trust, a rising star in the industry. How strange. What was he about to say? Was he going to come forward? Maybe so. And, you know, they say post 34, military is the only way forward, et cetera, et cetera. She was caught in the crossfire as this person reportedly targeted the NFL offices located in the same building. Well, he was probably programmed to do this. That's my guess. So 106 is post number 66. Wait a minute. You're telling me the president is currently under attack by our own agencies? Yes. The company just attacked Commander-in-Chief, immediately detected by our military intelligence, alerted him to it. Re-review everything, including today, yesterday, and the weekend. What does this mean? What actions are immediately occurring? If this leaks or you see immediate action at Langley, you'll have verification ahead of schedule. So again, this probably is happening, and we just don't know what it really means, but we'll find out. So now we find out that Virginia was actually working at MAL. In her own words, she stated she was working at a spa there when G-Max approached her, ultimately leading to her being in this bad situation. Despite her story, she never accused him of any misconduct and even voiced her support for his 2024 run. There you go. She was there working at MAL, never saw anything bad happen, never wanted to say anything bad. He wasn't a jerk. He wasn't grabbing her by the whatever. He was just, you know, being nice. Sorry for that one. Had to insert a little bit of a joke there, but whatever. I mean, look, this is what they're trying to pin on him, and they're giving you evidence showing you, no, this is not really what's going on at all. It's not the way it works. So then we have 1 minute 40 would be exactly 100. Who is the Queen of England? How long was she in power? And, well, she's not alive anymore, but with power comes corruption. There you go. So there was evil going on even at that level. What happened to Diana, and what did she find out? Obviously, she found out about the evil. Why was she running? She wanted to, you know, not be a part of it anymore. Who did she entrust to help her flee? That was Dodi. So again, I'm not sure why they're talking about this right now, except that it's all tied in with G-Max and this other guy. So there you go. It was running through the European royals. That's part of what it's about. There's connection with the bad actors in the news, connections to the Queen, their own intelligence agents dying. What really happened? They were probably killed. Now they talk about this corrupt, evil, secret society, and they use these individuals that they mentioned 4 times there for assets and operations, for Satan. And what political leaders worship Satan? The upside-down cross, being worn openly. And again, you know all the rest. It's a cult, and what are they worshiping? They're worshiping Satan. So now Wild Bill is again listing his luxury yacht. He's selling off his assets systematically, probably because he's losing everything from secret military judgments. That's my guess. He's putting it up for $645 million. So if you have that lying around, you want to have a yacht, then here's one option. He has never once apparently stepped aboard it. Oh my God, really? Wow. The vessel's name is Breakthrough. It's also known as Project 821. It's been quietly connected to him for years without any public confirmation. And then we have 3 million views and post number 20. And this is again about meetings in the White House and rooms that have been renovated to remove things that could either kill you or surveil on you. That's why there's no phones in the room. Maybe Bill was behind that. That's probably what they're saying. So then they come out with stuff about the Far East tsunami and how it was threatening Hawaii. Massive 8.7 magnitude earthquake, buildings being swept away, tsunamis crashing into Russia. Maybe it was intended to attack Russia. That could be part of it. Hawaii is under tsunami warning. I read this. I was like, oh my God. I read it before bed, and I'm like, oh my God. Really? I could not believe that we might have lost Hawaii, because it would have been so horrible, man. I was just terrified. The entire U.S. West Coast is now on high alert. National Weather Service issuing a dire message to Hawaii residents. Take urgent action to protect your lives and property. And again, this was all predicted in that crop circle. Post number 31, world stalemate. We have all the goods on everyone else. And there's so much string pulling and blackmail, we need to cut it all off to regain the power that we have been granted by the hardworking people of this country. So then Oprah, apparently, they saying that these people are liars, just carried out the biggest cover-up in coordination with the mainstream media. What is that about? Well, probably the fact that, as they said in the other posts, that she had blocked the escape route so that people couldn't escape on her private road. Now they're covering that up. They don't want anybody to find out, which makes sense. I mean, it'd be very embarrassing. I don't blame them, honestly. If you made that bad of a call, cover up is... But the cover-up always gets you, as Dave says, right? So there you go. Pretty interesting. They covered it all up. Now, this is another very provocative post. I mean, how many days do we have before this might happen? He says it's time to indict. Oh, my goodness. Right there. He shared a post saying it's time to indict for treason, and he's using a font that looks like the money lettering that we have on our American currency. So yes, I think this is going to happen, folks. You might be tired of waiting. You're like, David, you tell me this every week. It's like the boy who cried wolf. It's not happening. What the hell is going on? Just be patient. It's coming, okay? We already saw this one. Chuck saying you got to have everything out by August 15th, demanding the full list and claiming they're determined to uncover the truth. Right after, so this is the very next post after it just says, time to indict him for treason. Well, these files will probably lead to that happening. So again, we're in a very, very near-term window here. It's quite exhilarating, isn't it? Post number 1 minute 27 is 87. And he says, my signatures all reference upcoming events about to drop, if this hasn't already been caught on. Wow. So yeah, we're going to have events about to drop. Then there's a new video that shows an orange figure coming up to the cell, walking up the stairs, the last movement seen before his body was found the next morning. The figure is believed to be someone wearing an orange jumpsuit. The identity and exact answers remain unknown. You have to watch the video. At the corner of that railing where the stairs are, where it's wooden railing, you see that there is somebody's feet down there. There's legs. I don't know if that's what it is, but there's also some other stuff. Anyway, you got to watch the video. But again, it's exactly 1 minute long, which is once more a second iteration of post number 60, saying there's less than 10 people in the alliance and only 3 of them are non-military. So this is purposeful behavior. So I refuse to believe that what I'm doing is reading the tea leaves and just making stuff up. There's intelligent patterning behind the choices that they make on what number of seconds to cut the videos to. And sometimes the videos end very awkwardly. The number of seconds seems to be more important than the video content itself. So we have dozens of individuals caught in a massive sting. This is the next thing. I can't really read very much of this, and I decided that before, I'm not going to really read this. But there was illegal drugs, there was other stuff, and it included an Army sergeant, University of Florida student on visa, individuals from Mexico, Jamaica, India, and El Salvador. Well, that's good. We like this kind of stuff because, again, these are crimes against humanity, and they need to be stopped. And the Alliance is working on it. They're letting us know that. So once again, 146, post number 106. We've been getting this one quite a bit. We've had it, 2 or 3 times lately. They cut the feed trying to shut him down. Remember what they said. They were waiting for this. Whatever is happening now. That's probably the main thing they wanted us to hear. And then, because again, it's very near future. They're giving us these deadlines. Nothing is a coincidence. We are at war. Saudi Arabia cut the strings. They are scrambling for cover and using any means necessary out of their remaining power and control. God bless you. We saw this one before. J.D. Vance is going to be doing a UFO investigation, a top priority, something he's frequently discussing with close friends, hinting major revelations could be on the way. I do think when it all comes out in the wash that everybody's watching this show, they're just not saying it, and I'm teaching everybody a lot of interesting things. Cindy J., thank you for your time and knowledge every Sunday. I would love to see you in Denver or Burbank. I live in Southern California. Yeah, we're definitely doing one in Burbank. I haven't seen you live since your last appearance at Contact in the Desert, Love and Light. Well, thank you very much, Cindy J., for the $50 donation. Kayla Lynn. David, what do you think 3-Eye Atlas is? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Sorry if you mentioned this and I missed. Astrophysicists say it's not a comet and it's interstellar. Well, it could be something very cool, so let's just keep our eyes on that. But again, we're just about ready to get to the end of the show. We're at 3 hours, so it's all working out really good. Major revelations could be on the way, says the vice president. Well, he's hinting, but he knows something. Just like RFK got a briefing. So 29 seconds. Some things must remain classified to the very end. They're not going to tell you everything. These networks are being dismantled, and people being captured for various purposes that is paused but not terminated completely until the players are in custody. And we pray every single day for God's guidance and direction, as we are truly going up against something that is pure evil. Then we had this one at the beginning of the show. Dr. Malone, spilling the beans on UFOs and beings, says that RFK Jr. received a classified briefing on UFOs, UAPs, and whether they could be interdimensional beings or time travelers. He mentions humans from the future coming back. That's very interesting that he said that. Claiming a federal investigator told him alien encounters are ramping up and are real. Wow. I could not believe seeing him, of all people, talking about my stuff, and now he's completely convinced that it's true. Somebody convinced him. Look at how much the guy hosting the show is smiling. He loves it. Bonnie Demlong, one of our family members, thank you very much for the donation, $20. Post number 123, again, we have this one. Nothing is random. Everything has meaning. I love it. Now, he says he's ready to release everything. But he warns it could put people in danger. The same individuals who ran these files pushed the narrative against him. They are truly evil and sick, operating behind the scenes. So, post number 28, we've seen that one many, many times recently. And again, this is the classic post talking about the military surveilling people in the late 1960s. The Pentagon compiled personal information on more than 100,000 politically active Americans to quell civil rights anti-Vietnam War demonstrations. They used 1,500 plainclothes agents to watch the demonstrations, infiltrate organizations, and spread disinfo. According to one report, the Army had at least one observer at every demonstration of more than 20 people. They would study you in church, campus, classroom, public meetings, taking notes, tape recording, and photographing you if you dissented in thought, word, or deed, including clergymen, editors, public officials, anyone who sympathized. Well, that's all going to stop. And then it says here that he had the military infiltrate these organizations and dissenting governments always 5 steps ahead, and they say, yes, the picture is being painted. So it's coming, folks. So Greg Kelly thinks that she's innocent. That's the next slide. Insisting there's plenty of evidence to back it up, saying she was framed by a DS media operation, making it clear he doesn't care what anyone thinks about his stance. Why are they running cover? Well, pretty freaking crazy. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree that she's innocent at all. I don't think you do either. I mean, anyway. 47 seconds brings us to this. You can paint the picture based solely on the questions asked. Be vigilant today and expect another major negative event. Does anyone find it to be a coincidence? There is always something bad that happens when they have bad news. No, they're doing that on purpose to try to distract you. What is that called? Well, we know. They just said it in the first sentence. And how has he made so much progress in the short time since he became president? Well, because he's got this massive military intelligence operation behind him. That's what we keep saying. And then his father was involved in the company. I don't know what he did to make the alliance mad, but why are they all of a sudden turning on him? There could be something going on we don't know about. Maybe it wasn't kayfabe. Maybe he did get mad at 47, and now they're throwing a little shade on him. He didn't learn about his father's company involvement until he passed in 2025, so he says in this video, yet they catch him in a lie, because in 2024, June, he'd already stated his father was working with them and described his entire family as connected. Oh, uh-oh. Well, I still think he's done a lot of good for us, and everybody, anybody who's done that much good, I think is really working on the positive side. So I don't know why they're telling you this, but I do support Tucker, so just want to make that clear. But, that's a very weird thing that they put out, isn't it? I don't know what that means. Post number 37. They are the true patriots we will never forget. Let these coming days, that sounds very soon, be remembered in our history as the time we fought to recapture the Republic from those evil bad actors who for so long have sacrificed the good people of this land for personal gain. Fight the good fight and let justice be served in the coming days. So finally, I think this is all coming true, you guys. I think we're really close now, within weeks or less. Then in Cincinnati, they talk about this incident that occurred. A group of individuals had already beaten this person to the ground before anything was ever spoken. The media tried to change it all around. Timeline destroys the narrative pushed by city officials who claim this happened first. Well, it shouldn't happen at all. That's the point. Don't say that. Just don't put yourself there. Even if somebody's hurting you, I wouldn't do that. It's a very bad idea. You could get hurt a lot more. And it's very bigoted and stupid. Anyway, post number 95. Again, what happened in Saudi Arabia will happen here, in Asia, and in Europe. Keep digging and organizing this info we give you into graphics. This is critical, and God bless you. So yes, it is going to happen here. And then he mentions a fountain of youth. He may have stumbled onto it based on claims he looks younger now than he did when he was much younger. The reporter joked he looked old when he was young, but somehow looks younger now. He even admits he has, quote-unquote, no idea how it happened. Well, we know what this is really about, don't we? This is about, something I can't say actually out loud, but, there are certain ways to get growth factors into your body that are part of their weird tradition that they're doing. Post number 20. Who did he meet with yesterday? Again, second iteration of a post. Rooms in the White House renovated to avoid these surveillance devices. They don't want you talking about this, and they're going to try to keep ahead of you. Then they talk about Cash's honeypot girlfriend. She's pushing back hard against rumors that she's some sort of an agent, denies being sent by this intelligence agency to sway her powerful boyfriend's decisions. She says she fully supports releasing everything as long as people stop calling her a spy. Well, maybe she is. That might be the whole point. I don't think they would have bothered to post this if they didn't think that it was really, really true. So, is that what's going on? You be the judge. Post, we got 1 minute, 27 seconds. Again, is post 87. So he keeps repeating himself, right? My signatures all reference upcoming events about to drop if this hasn't been caught on. It's so exciting, man. And then we have 47 being blocked from making any recess appointments. John Thune just revealed he will stop the president from doing this By keeping Senate in a continuous technical session once it adjourns tonight, using pro forma meetings, he plans to block this individual, the president, from filling any vacancies. That's just a sore loser, right? They're just so willing to try to do anything they can to try to stop this from happening, aren't they? Well, we got 32 seconds, post number 32. Again, talking about the speed of the arrests, maybe one day, but it cannot go slow. The initial wave will be fast and meaningful. It will send a signal to others immediately, and you will see the tide turn. Not even the mainstream media can hide. And rest assured that there will be people jailed for being agents under deep cover. So maybe one day, but it cannot go slow. I mean, it's, again, so exciting because when you read this code off of the numbers of seconds of the videos, it's just extremely, dazzlingly consistent, and I love that. Then we have this comedian who has become the guardian of a very creepy museum. Oh, what could go wrong? It's just a bunch of demonically cursed, 700 demonically infested objects, including the real Annabelle doll, the infamous occult museum of Lorraine Warren. This comedian, Matt Rife, has officially become its legal guardian. Yeah, what could go wrong having 700 demonic objects in one room? Oh, of course, nothing. Come on. Think about it a little bit. Says he and his collaborator, Elton, are preparing to open this haunted collection to the public. Yeah, what could go wrong? Overnight stays and guided tours. Yeah. Ooh, I don't know. Their goal is to let people step directly into the terrifying legacy of the Warrens and experience the dark history behind each artifact for themselves. Well, you want to go do it, go ahead. I'm not going. Post number 99, who was arrested in Saudi Arabia. We know that was the people in the swamp, and who was killed there, who really fired, that was the Alliance. And it says right here that they are in an open season on puppets. Who are the puppets and where are the puppets? They are global, and they are all connected to the media through, again, various programs and secret agents, including Anderson, who's really a Vanderbilt. Then, this was, up until last night, this was the last slide, that there's a genuine vaccine for cancer that really works, apparently. And they want to make it widely available to the public. They announced they had developed a therapeutic treatment specifically designed to fight it off. They are now planning to roll it out free of charge to patients, marking a major step in their national healthcare strategy. Interesting, huh? I mean, what if this is actually something good? And I've heard rumors that this exists already. I mean, we've heard about this. Post number 117 starts with images of naval ships. And then it says right here, again, tying back to Saudi Arabia, why was the arrest of al-Walid and others so important? Because it stopped that influence in Saudi, and they just said what happened there is going to happen here. And so al-Walid was all tied in, financing these people, including BO. And he was reading the book Post-American World. Why would the President of the United States be reading this, which is actually propaganda against us? It's pretty interesting, isn't it? And anyway, we've seen all this stuff a bunch of times. He apparently was her mentor, al-Walid was. And we entered into a new thing after 2001, a new war. The single biggest event that can generate many nation states to be able to pay out billions. That would be war. So again, this is all talking about the war machine and why these people want to profit off of death. Now, this rejuvenated Tucker's opinion in everybody's eyes, I think, revealing supernatural forces behind the DS. I loved reading this one. The U.S. government is being controlled by supernatural beings and forces operating behind the scenes. Again, right out of our show. This is exactly what we talk about. Their main mission is to keep you from believing in the supernatural because they believe in it and they openly serve it. According to Carlson, let's go back to the beginning, sorry. So the U.S. government, again, controlled by supernatural beings and forces operating behind the scenes, and their main mission is to keep you from believing the supernatural because they believe it and openly serve it. According to Carlson, they exist in physical form. They've infiltrated global governments, media institutions, and are waging an all-out war on our faith in God. Isn't that something? 1 minute and 8 seconds is only one number away from post number 109, which is the Archangel Michael post we had last week. That might have been intentional. If so, thank you, Alliance. But it also, when we add it up, it goes to post number 68. And this is the one that I usually can't read just because it's the same thing over and over again. The 4-letter word starting with H. Who is she connected to? What organization? Her family history? How did she meet this individual? And can we expose every crooked person? No, because 70% of them are. So they brought that up again. And then last but not least, we have Willem Dafoe dressing up as a woman with a sassy look on his face. He does kind of look like a flat-chested grandmother here, I have to say, with his hair and his smile and everything. It's really funny. Best known for playing the Green Goblin, was recently seen wearing a woman's dress. Is this another humiliation ritual? Maybe so. Who the hell knows? It had just popped up. I got it this morning. Right after it popped up, it had 7,000 views. 11 seconds leads us to this post, which we already saw today, military intelligence versus the other agencies. And who is the commander-in-chief of the military? That would be the president. Under what article can he impose a military intelligence takeover investigation? Well, that's what's happening now. Conditions that must present themselves are here. They lost this very important power, the one area of the government not corrupt that directly serves him. Woo, you guys, we made it. We made it through another show. We're at 3 minutes and 10 seconds. He is so weird. PB says, Tucker claimed he didn't know his father was part of the company until after he died. Someone remembered an interview he had given prior to his father's death where he said he did know that his father was involved. I'm so disappointed in William Dafoe. Only the big money actors are signing their soul away. Yay, Scott Monson says, it's time for the meditation. All right, you guys. Well, I'm ready to keep this show nice and short because apparently I have, overall more viewers and better earning power. We don't make it 5 hours, so we're at 3 hours, so this is good. Anyway, let's have everybody now close your eyes. We got our global peace meditation coming in. Whoops, here we go. Okay, so close your eyes now, and I'd like you to put both feet flat on the floor. Take a nice deep breath for a minute. And just start to think about what we saw today. The amazing correlation between that crop formation and this tsunami that occurred, and the idea that there will be a visible energetic manifestation from the sun. The messages from the Alliance are getting very interesting. They're giving us deadlines. It could all happen within this month. August 15th was said by Schumer. The Alliance reiterated the date of the Uranus-Neptune conjunction, August 28th. Just feeling yourself breathing and relaxing now. Letting yourself go deeper and deeper and deeper. Feeling good and calm and relaxed about everything that's going on. Just giving yourself over to the silence of the moment, to the peace that's in this moment, the gratitude that we're feeling about being here today together. Such wonderful times to be alive for everyone, if you can see beyond the negativity. Breathing deeply, breathing in the gratitude, breathing in the love for ourselves, for each other, remembering Michael's importance on compassion. We got to rise above being so worried about the things that we can't control and focus on the things that we can change. We are so grateful for being here today, for being together, for having this opportunity to commune. We're so grateful for all the success and positivity that's going on. Surrounding the Alliance with love and light, surrounding all those engaging in dangerous missions to save our planet. We surround you with love and support. Thank you so much for what you're doing for us. And remembering to love ourselves. Take that love, redirect it to yourself. Feel good about your own life. Feel good about what's going on in the world. See the positive change that you want to be. Breathing in that peace, breathing in that love. For in the grandest sense, you are the light. You are the love. You are the one infinite creator. And this is as it was, as it is now, and as it always shall be. And nothing and no one can take that from you. And so it is. Woo! All right. Coming back into the room now. So happy to be here. So happy to be here with you guys today. Loud commercial knocked me out of meditation, says Vacapalo. Sorry about that. We're coming up on the 3-hour and 15-minute mark, and that's a great time for us to end our show. So again, thank you guys for being here today. And barring any really, really wild stuff, as long as the internet still works and I'm still here, we'll be right back on the air next week. This is David Wilcock live on YouTube, 3 hours and 15 minutes, and I want to thank you for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next Sunday.